Good morning, everyone. Welcome once again to Afro Scientific Spirituality. My name is Remains West, reaching you live and direct from the heart of Africa. If this is your first time watching me on this channel, you are highly welcome. This is the place for separating facts from the fiction, the science from the superstitions, and the concepts from the misconceptions about African spirituality. Today, I have a very important guest from the United States of America slash Jamaican in the person of Sorcerer Waugh. Nice to
Sorcerer
hear
Van Wall.
from you. Yes, it's a pleasure. You
Thank
are
you. Thank you, sir.
highly welcome to the show today. I'm very happy and delighted.
Indeed.
So I want you to introduce yourself, tell the
Okay.
audience about yourself, a little bit about your history, background, and your kind of practice.
Okay. So basically, my name is, I go by the name Von Wall. Um,
Mhm.
I'm a ancestral, I go by ancestral sorcerer. So basically, I work with the ancestors and the spirits that was born with me to basically manipulate any type of energy to get the results that I want. Um, my first, how you say, coming to this spirituality was when I was young. A lot of, as a Jamaican, every family is big into Christianity. I think Jamaicans have the most churches per square mile than any other country in the world. That's how much they believe in Christianity. But for me, it could just couldn't sit too well with me. You understand? So I had to go on my own journey, and I started doing my own thing, just lighting candles and giving waters and incense and things like that. So this kind of sped on his own, and then my family member of mine joined Ifa, and once he joined Ifa, it gave me a real look. Could you hear me?
Yeah, I
Are you
can
able
hear
to?
you.
Okay, it gave me a real
Yes.
look into what real African spirituality looked like, and from there, I kind of just took off on my own, you know.
Wow, that's nice. That's nice.
Hmm.
So you can describe yourself as a self practitioner.
Yeah, a
You
self
practice
practitioner.
by
Because
yourself.
basically, well, first I want to start by saying this: that I don't want to be looked upon as how you would say, spirit, or sorry, somebody who's the representative of Jamaican Nubia, but rather than just somebody who practiced Jamaican Nubia and is giving you their experience and knowledge. Because a lot of people's gonna come on here and just think that, oh, okay, this got to be a high representation of anybody who works Jamaican Nubia, and I don't want to get into that because Jamaican Nubia is basically unique to each individual. There is no one way of doing it because, like I said, the spirits are going to talk to everybody uniquely.
So there's no
Mhm.
like fixed system that this is a standard of practice of for Jamaican OB
No,
spirituality. Everybody practice individually based on the how the spirit communicate with them, based on
this is
their
true.
connection with their own divinity.
This is
Okay,
true.
that is nice. Okay, I want to ask you a question about the origin of Jamaican spirituality. I learned that it came with the Maroons to the Maroons of Jamaica. Can you explain who are these Maroons and what is their composition? Where did they actually come from? And how did this OB practice evolve to what we have today?
Well, the Jamaican Maroons were a set of there were a bunch of different tribes that came together. Excuse me. There were a bunch of different tribes that actually came together through the transatlantic slave trade to fight off their oppressors. The first Maroons that actually were on Jamaica was originally brought from the Spaniards, from my understanding, because before Jamaica was first owned by the British, it was owned by the Spanish, or conquered, however you want to look at it. So the first Maroons that were there was originally the different African tribes, alongside with the what you would call the Arawaks or the Tainos, which is the native people of Jamaica. So when the Africans first arrived in Jamaica and they decided to run away to regroup and come back to fight off their oppressors, they met the Arawaks in the mountains or wherever they met them, and then they end up joining little communities, which the Europeans call them Maroons. Meaning, from what I understand, Maroon means being cast away or gone. So they looked at the African captives as cattle. So this is where that term maroon came from. But that was never, from what I understand, that was never a name that they gave themselves. From what I understand, their names that they give themselves is called Cremonti.
Wow. Okay, because that term maroon, it has a lot of connotation. If I could refer my the English definition, when they say it's a term used by people that are in the ship, when they say to maroon somebody to cast the person away or to drop the person at a kind of deserted island.
Yeah,
They will not kill the person, they will just drop the person at at deserted island and then leave them there. That is
yeah,
to say that they have been you have been marooned or something. So that is how
yes,
the Jamaican, the let me say the early African ancestors got that name in Jamaica.
yes,
They
yes.
took
And
them from Africa, they dropped them there, they left them there. So they have to kind of fend for themselves, start their own life and their own culture, civilization, something like that. Then
yeah,
I also learned that there are some Jews living that are kind of native to Jamaica. Jews. Do we have Jews there?
Jewish people.
Yes, Jewish people.
Yeah, there are Jewish people
Yes.
in Jamaica. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, yeah, there are set of people that went everywhere around the world. So yeah, you definitely have Jewish people that is around Jamaica. Some of my ancestors that actually, well, one that actually mixed with my family was Jewish as well. So there are some Jewish people that did migrate to Jamaica, especially after the World War when they'd all dispersed and left to different
World War
countries.
Two. Okay.
Correct. Yeah,
Those
but yeah,
people now
they are
they're
definitely, and a lot of them
yeah,
actually they have certain names. But from what I understand with the Jews, they're not from the German side of things. They're from the Spaniards side of Jews. I forgot the type of Jews they call them, but these are more people who was into like Kabbalah and witchcraft and things of well, people call it witchcraft, but
hello,
it's
are you
a
there?
yeah, it's a Jewish mysticism. And a lot of them end up coming over to Jamaica and other islands as well. It's not just Jamaica alone. And alongside the Indians that came from India with their Hinduism, and yeah, some Irish, some white people that came out there as well. Yeah,
Wow.
Jamaica's a real. Our motto is out of many, one people. You know.
And now all these people they are now natives of Jamaica as well. They are indigenous, they are natives, they are citizens. So the population is not only African people, composed of Jewish people, Indian people, Irish
Yeah,
people.
what
All the
happened was the first foundation of people was the Arawaks or the Tainos, as people will call them. These are the native of Jamaica. But once the whole cross Atlantic came, then the different tribes, such as the Igbo, the different tribes of the different Bantu tribes without the Congo and Angola, Ashanti tribes also made it there. And also those are the main tribes. There are some tribes that was actually, I don't know what you call them, smaller tribes, but we actually just bundle them all up into the bigger major tribes, you know. So like things of like Yoruba might be jumbled up closer with people of Igbo versus we won't put them with like the Congo. You get what I'm saying? Because the culture is a little bit more similar in how it works. So a lot of different tribes actually came to Jamaica. It wasn't just Ashanti, as a lot of people say. Even if you're supposed to go to a lot of the burial grounds, especially like where my family come from in a Kompong, you'll notice that they separate the tribes according to burial ground and keep them separated because we understand that a lot of the tribes had beef with one another. But to keep things calm and relaxed, everybody has their own burial placement.
the independence struggle, does it have any kind of spiritual input or connotation?
Yeah, yeah. In my opinion, I believe that's where they got the most of their strategies from. Was dealing with the other side, was dealing with the ancestors and the deities that walk with alongside of them. It was the main tool that they used.
Wow.
They speak about Queen Nani being able to have visions of how you would say the enemies or the oppressors, the Europeans, whatever you want to call them, coming through and being able to envision their military styles or tactics before they was even able to implicate them. It also gave us certain understandings, like when they talk about they have a saying that Nani used to catch bullets with her buttocks, for a lack of better words, right? But what it was actually is that Nani was able to build animal skin into her skirt. And what she would do is she would actually use the animal skin as a form of bulletproof vest because, you know, they wasn't shooting actual bullets at those times. They were shooting barrens. So what she would do is she would raise her skirt
Yes.
so and tell everybody to stand in front of her. And when those bullets shot off, they were hit by the animal hide, which was the first bulletproof, which was the first vest or armory. So to me, where would she get that understanding from just naturally to know that that would even be powerful enough to stop that? It would have to, you know, in my mind, it would have to be some form of ancestral guidance that gave her that, you know? Definitely.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely. When it comes to spirituality, that was major, major. I think any body who had any form of success in the rebellion of slavery, they all once they were successful, they all used some form of spirituality in what we would call dealing with God. You understand? And that's the only way they was able to make it possible. Because a lot of sometimes I say spirituality and I say God, I use them interchangeably because this is the way that we know God. You understand? So, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. That is very, very understandable. So the
Mhm.
OBA origins of from Jamaica, do they have any influence in it spread from Jamaica to the Caribbeans, or how did this spirituality influence the neighbors of Jamaica? OBA practice. Do we have it in the countries around Jamaica? Or
Well,
how do they?
first thing off, when it comes to the word obia, that's a mispronunciation by the Europeans. They couldn't pronounce obaye, so they pronounced it obia. So to say that it went around to different countries, I don't want to talk things that I don't know. But what I would say that I do know is that I'm gonna use the term island hopping. So that means going from one island to another. The same way in America, we'll go from states to states. It's very easy for them to do that in the islands, in the Caribbean, especially back in the days. And when there was a time where there was no such thing as these names that we go by, such as like Jamaica or Cuba or Haiti or anything like that. All we knew was to identify our brothers and sisters just by looking at them, and we understand the war that was going on. So it's possible. I do see a lot of similarities between different spiritual systems and Jamaican Obia. So it is possible that everybody at that form of time was communicating and how you say sharing information to get themselves out of the oppression that they were in. Um, Down to one of the most famous ones is our cousins over there in Haiti. We always talk about a gentleman named Bookman that was a Maroon over here in Jamaica that they actually captured and sent to Haiti. And he also found out when they was in Haiti, like, oh wow, y'all on it too? Y'all trying to y'all trying to override the oppressors as well. And they talk about a ceremony that he
Hello.
did along. Could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you say that
Okay.
last sentence again?
Yeah. So basically, when Bookman, did you hear the part with Bookman that I mentioned? Is the service coming through?
Yes, I got that one.
Okay, yeah, but this is referring to what you was asking about sharing information. I know that when Bookman actually went over to Haiti and he met up with the Haitians over there, he realized that they were on the same type of timing of setting their country free as well. He actually did a ceremony alongside with another Haitian mambo where they actually sacrificed a black pig, and I found that pretty interesting because in Jamaica, every January the 16th, they do a festival towards the Maroons, Kudja and everybody, where they offer a black pig. So it's so funny that a Maroon went over there and they're probably doing the same ceremony that we was doing to gain our freedom as well. So there is certain understandings that I see with that, alongside with what they will call, even alongside what they'll call Palo Mayombe in Cuba. There's a lot of Congo people that was in Jamaica. And even to this day, you have people in Jamaica that they build their own spiritual pots with pretty much everything that somebody in Palo Mayombe will use. But we don't do everything like how they do it. So it lets me know that there is some similarities because everybody was just Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba are like right next door to each other. I swear you could probably swim from one island to the other the way it's so close. I'm over exaggerating, but that's just to show you that how close they are. So it wouldn't shock
Yeah.
me if all our ancestors were sharing information together. But I'm not gonna
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that I have definite information that yeah, we went over there and did this, you know.
I will agree. I won't agree more. So
Mm.
in Jamaica now, you mentioned something about the black pig. What type of animals when you do like animal offerings to the ancestors? What is the major animal you guys use? Is this pig or ram or goat that they
It
usually
all
slaughter?
depends. I'll be honest with you. From my experience and how I do things over here, it doesn't really matter. What matters is more the size of the offering that you're giving. So you could give
How
something as
big
small
it is?
as a little chick, to a rooster, to a goat. You understand? So it all, and you could give as simple as water and rum. Like, so to me, it's not so much like how in Yoruba or Ifa, or let me go to what they'll call Regla de Ocha in Cuba, where every single Orisha has a certain animal that is offered to it because of its attributes and things of that nature. It's not so much so like that in Jamaica. It's pretty much whatever it's about. You gotta understand, when Ubia was coming about and being formed into what it is now, it was about necessity. This was a warlike set of, not a warlike set of people, but a people who was in war and had to use what they had on hand. So it wasn't really where you could make every single ingredient to what you want. You had to work with what you have on hand. And that's what my ancestors show me over here as well. It's not about sitting there and having the biggest, grandest thing. It's about giving the spirit what they need and what they ask for. But yeah, but to answer your question, no, we don't have like a set of animals that is particularly to this. No, it's whatever we ask them, hey, they say they want to be fed. Hey, you want a goat? If it hits yes, then they get in a goat. And it's just that simple.
Yeah. It's also the same thing here in Nigeria, our own practice. In here we have the OBA. The name of OBA, or in my culture, the OBAB mean black, mean dark,
Mm.
have to do with our melanated melanin, our connection with divinity. We kind of connect through nature based on identifying ourselves as who we are, as the natural elements of nature, and we see ourselves in the image of God. So I want to know, in Jamaica, the OBS spirituality, do you guys mix it with Christianity? Sorry.
There's some people
Like
that,
when you see some people practice African spirituality now, that we use the Bible to be quoting Bible verse.
well, like I said, Albia is more about like I said, it's more about a sorcery. It's not so much about tradition. But if you come from a house where your family practiced their own spirituality and they incorporated a Bible into it, then I guess that, yeah, some people will use it, use the Bible in their practice. But in my opinion, if you are somebody who's connected to the ancestors, I don't think you really should be reading. I don't think you should be using the Bible, because it's the people that our ancestors was warring with. So to use our New Age term oppositions information or prayers to empower your spiritual workings, is it possible to do? Yes, it's possible, but I won't see why you would need to do that. Now, when you're talking about tradition, there is a set of people that they go by Zionists, or I think Pocomina. I used to call them Poca people. My sister, she's one of them. She hate when I call her that, but they tend to work with a lot of Christianity and the African spirits as well. They serve both in sense. So in the daytime, they'll be working with the Abrahamic spirits, and then on certain times where it called that the native deities want to be praised or whatever, then they set up what they would call a table or something like that for them. So that's the only one that I really know that incorporates Christianity into their spiritualism. I was going to say, well, a lot of times we hear Jamaicans talking about hoodoo and things of that nature is because they're on books and online and they're seeing things that people do, so then they're practicing it. But in my opinion, in order for you to really be doing hoodoo, you have to have African American ancestry, because that's how they're able to tell where this spiritual, I don't know what you would call it, system came about, for lack of better words. Even with Obia, right? Even with Obia, I've done work for people, and the people had, whoever I'd done work on them, this happened before, somebody went and got a reading, and they was able to identify that it was Obia being worked on them. Now, how were they able to identify that it's Obia? Because the ancestors that I sent are Jamaican. You get what I'm saying? So what makes me know that I'm definitely working with Obia is because of the ancestry. So if you're somebody in Jamaica saying that you're practicing hoodoo because you're using herbs and things of that nature, I don't really think herbs is what makes a spiritual system. I think it's the ancestors and the energies that you have push those herbs to do what you need done that makes the spiritual system. So I would say anybody who's in Jamaica that have Jamaican ancestry saying that they're practicing hoodoo, they may be using systems that hoodoo people use, but you lack the ancestry to say that you're using hoodoo. The same way if somebody was working something from the Congo, they wouldn't say that it's Yoruba people or Ashanti people. They will say, yo, this look like some Bantu type of spirituality coming at you. It's the ancestors that make your spiritual system what it is.
Inside their practice, how do you see that kind of practice? Is it normal or is it natural, or what do you think about it?
I think anybody that's actually using Christianity in their spiritual system, such as Obia, um, I don't understand why they'll be doing it, because the whole thing of Obia was to get closer to our ancestors, and the people who used the Bible were oppressors to our ancestors. They're the whole reason why
Mm-hmm.
all this, where we're in Jamaica, why we're in America. So if you're telling me that you're somebody who's a spirit, who's a sorcerer, ancestral sorcerer, why would you be using the oppressors' prayers and ways to incorporate into your spiritual workings? Now, I'm going to say that's just me being a human and wanting to have allegiance to my ancestors. But as a spiritualist, the prayers are still going to work, because a prayer is a prayer. It just depends on who you're directing the prayer to. So if you're directing the prayer to an Abrahamic God, then it's going to be given to him. But if you say that same prayer to an African deity or an Arawak deity or anything to that nature, that's where that prayer is going to go. So it could be incorporated. I don't like to see it. That's just me personally. I'm not against it, but like I said, to greet our ancestors with the same people that was oppressing them is crazy to me, because we have to remember that if you're an ancestral sorcerer, that you should be dealing with humans who have passed on to the other side. That should be your main thing that you're dealing with, and then everything else comes after.
Yeah, why I'm asking this question, because I've seen some OBA practitioners. Uh, the first thing we see is a very big cross, a Christian cross on the altar, in the middle of the altar. Then sometimes you will see a Bible on the altar. Before you will not see African paraphernalia, some African statues and idols. Then you start seeing our native instrument. So when I look at the mix, I say this combination is odd. Because if, well, as you say, if you pray to the ancestors, and we pray to Abraham, Isaac, Moses, are they part of our ancestors? Which ones are the real ones? Are we saying that the Western ancestors have more power or more autonomy than our own African ancestors? So this thing is kind of confusing for me. So I see the practice that some people do totally mixed up, because Obi, as you say, is not structured in a traditional sense, whereby like, or like Ifa, the Yoruba system of Ifa, what we know is have a structure, the traditional system, everything is in place from initiation to the teachings. In OB, it is connection to our ancestors. So African spirituality involves a bit of necromancy, because we talk to the people that have died. That is necromancy now, making contact with
Yeah.
dead people. By we doing libation, calling names of our forefathers, giving them drink, our brothers and sisters, that is a form of necromancy in a lighter sense. So how deep do we have to go in OB? Now, if we are doing necromancy there, we're calling the names of the oppressors. What kind of working are we doing? Are we aligning ourselves to the people that came to destroy us? Are we trying to continue the mission of those people? Who are we aligning with? Where we're calling the ancestors of our enemies to come and help us succeed? Succeed as in what? To help us succeed, continue their work of destroying Africa people, or to make peace with us, or to settle or to fight the people that came to destroy us. Who are we? What are we doing there? Mm-hmm.
Well, well, when it comes to Jamaicans, there's two things that I can actually say, right? Jamaicans is usually broken up into two parts. So you have the country and you have the city, right? A lot of the people from the country tend to come from, no, not a lot, but the people in the country, you have the maroon societies in the country and you have the people in the city. Now, the people in the city, if their family has always been in the city, chances are they're going to be, a lot of their family members were Christians because that's where the white man really resided the most. Now, if you're somebody like me, who a lot of the family came from the country and came from the Kermonti side of things, then a lot of my ancestors aren't going to be Christians compared to someone in Kingston. But like I said, when you do it, and me personally, in order to really be working up there, you have to be someone who's connected to the tribes because that's where all this was first heard or taught about. So if somebody is actually using the Bible and they're, because like I said, Obia took on a sense of being sorcery, and it usually has a negative um, um, tag with it as well that walks with it. So usually when you hear sorcery or Obeah, people usually look at it in a negative light because, in my opinion, it's truly up to the practitioner how he wants to work. If the practitioner is immoral, then he's going to take jobs that's immoral. Another reason why people Obeah get a bad rep too is because if you work bad in with as far as with Jamaicans, if you work bad, even if it's on somebody who done bad, they still don't like it. They don't feel that you should have took that route. So even though working bad in a justifiable way, a lot of Jamaicans are still scared of it and they're still going to condemn it. You understand? So a lot of them feel that if they cling to the Christian God, that there's some type of light that's still there because they have this very simple way of thinking of good and bad, you know, evil and light. Like that's just how they think of it. It's to me, it's just a lack of understanding, really, more than anything. But like I said, if you're somebody who's practicing over, there should not be no form of Christian symbolizing in there because it's going back to the people who was freeing themselves. So why would you use the people that they were against to greet them? That don't make any sense to me. But people in their practice, sometimes it's hard to tell somebody when they're doing wrong when they're fully emotionally invested into what they're doing. Only time will tell with them.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder. This is one of the major reasons why I am inviting you to this channel. Why I invited you here to talk about Jamaican Obeah, because I have seen a lot of practitioners mixing it heavily with Christianity, and it kind of
Mm-hmm.
make me skeptical about them. They keep saying it doesn't matter, everything you can mix it up. But for me, something doesn't go right. There's a very big practitioner on YouTube that mix it with Christianity. I just watch this guy from time to time, and I don't really understand what to say. In fact, his
Oh
own
yeah.
mixing is like almost 60% Christianity and 40% African spirituality. So I kind of wonder what spirit is this person dealing with in the long run. I wonder, we're talking about angels. If you want to say in Africa, we don't have the term angels. This angels term came with Christianity. What we
Yeah,
have is
indeed.
ancestors. Except you want to call our ancestors angels, that I will understand. But if you
Yeah.
say you're working with this angel, this Christian saints, Saint Christopher, Saint John, Saint Thompson, all these saints are missionaries that their mission was to spread Christianity and destroy the indigenous people. Why will I want to call Saint John or to come and Saint Jude to come and help me to do something? My own ancestors, what is the work are they supposed to do? All these things
Yeah,
get me.
I agree with you. I agree with you
I see
110%.
these things. So once again, necromancy plays an important part because we direct contact with the ancestors. So
Mm-hmm.
I want you to explain, like now you call yourself a Sorcerer. Why do you choose to call yourself a Sorcerer as against a priest or native doctor or babalao or any of
Oh,
other appendage that we have in
well,
in the business? Sorry.
sorcerer was a real term of a sorcerer is just someone who practices but have really no ties to any home or anybody. They just do their own thing. A famous term in Jamaica is witcher, is a witch, but I don't practice Witcher, which is Wicca, which a lot of people practice, which consider themselves Wicca. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a Babalawo, I won't say I'm a Babalawo because I don't deal with Odu, even though a Babala is father of secrets. I would consider myself a man of secrets. So, if you want to break it down to that most simplest term, then yeah. But in Jamaica, a lot of times I'll be considered Ganga, like or some people may call it Nganga, which is a lot of my
Mm-hmm.
tribes that I work with tend to come from either the Yoruba or the Congo. A lot of times, that's with me. Not to say that any other tribes don't come around, but those are my two favorite who I work with. So if I was supposed to pick a title, it would probably be Ganga. That's what we would call it in Jamaica, Abiyaman.
Mm-hmm.
But that's someone who mostly
Wow.
deals with
Mm-hmm.
work, because the Abiyaman is supposed to deal with work. Because in Jamaica, it's how you say everybody has the ashe, the gift. So you have some people who read. Not to say Abiyaman don't read, but you have some people who really read. You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
their specialty isn't working, where the Abiyaman specialty is working, but he works amongst himself. So he doesn't do a communal thing like how you would say in Jamaica, we have a practice called kumina. Kumina is a community-based thing. It's mainly ran by the Congo people, and they beat their drums and they get mounted and they do all what we don't call it mounted, we call it them catch mile. So what I said, a woman catch mile. So once they get possessed mile, then that's when the ancestors or whoever decides to come and talk with them. And that's something that's more traditional. That's something that will be like in the lane of what you would call like a babalawo or a priest or something to that nature, because they're actually there to serve the community and they work in a community base. Not to say that some of them can't be a single practitioner, but that's the main thing is community. Well, like I said, the Abyaman is usually to himself, and he practice how he chooses to practice with what walks with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a solitary practitioner. Let me say that solitary practitioner. That is very true. In your
Hmm.
practice, do you often have to like visit the cemetery from time to time, like where the dead are buried? You go there from time to time to do some rites.
Yeah, definitely. For certain things, yeah.
Hello.
Um, in the beginning, I mostly was, but now as time went on, because yeah, I don't really go to the cemetery as much. I kind of, unless I'm dropping certain things off. Another thing, I tend to move around a lot. I like to move around a lot. I like to move to different states and things of that nature. So for me to constantly be working with one cemetery would be crazy for me. I'd rather just collect the souls that I like working with and I like working with me, and then we take it from there. But I would like to say that dealing with Jamaican Obia, you don't necessarily have to be in the cemetery. You don't necessarily have to work with strange dead that you don't know. You could work just along with your family. There are reasons why we go and collect other souls from the cemetery, which I will not state, but it is not necessary. As long as you have family members that was practicing this and they know what time it is, and you have the gift, the ashe, the skills to do it, then you're all right. Do you hear me?
Okay. Okay. Because I
Yeah.
notice some practitioners regularly go to cemetery. When you talk of necromancy, I have made contact with some necromancers. They will go to cemeteries regularly to do things, to go and pray, to go and greet, to drop offerings. So I want to wonder if it's the same way. But
Well, yeah,
from
to
time to
drop off
time, we
offerings
need
and
to
things of
visit
that
the.
nature. Definitely. Definitely. Sorry, not to cut you, but
Yes,
yeah, I
yes,
thought
yes,
you
yes.
meant like go.
Okay.
Usually, when I hear about going to the cemetery, I'm
Mhm.
thinking to go and recruit people. So that's usually what I'm thinking of. But yeah, that's what I
No,
said.
no, no,
You
not to
definitely
recruit. No, 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 not to
okay.
recruit people. No, no, no.
Okay, because
Some people go there. What I'm talking about is like sometimes people go there, like there are some right people want to do. Say you need to get sand from the cemetery, or you need to
yeah,
carry some drinks to go and drop off in the cemetery, or you need to do some things in the cemetery.
yeah, the
Uh,
cemetery. Yeah, I get you. It is
it's
it is a
normal.
major thing.
I am aware
Yeah,
of
it is
this. We have
normal.
different kind of practice. We have in Palo Mayon Bay. This is
Yeah,
very, very to do. Paulo Mayombe have to do with a lot of necromancy. In Queen
yeah.
Banda, it has to do, even in
Kimbanga.
Nigeria here,
Yeah.
some
I just
certain
recently
practice.
started
There's a stage you
watching
get
this
to.
shit.
Yes. Uh, this is but a lot of people are afraid.
To the
So go ahead, please.
okay, when it comes to the cemetery, yeah, I frequent there for offerings and things like that, and certain little things I would like to collect. But yeah, I thought you was talking about collecting souls and things of that nature to help you. Yeah, that's not really necessary. But yeah, I do spend a lot of times with the cemetery, um, and also the woods. The woods is another great place as well. If you can't get to people, if you can't get to
Okay.
cemetery, get to the woods. That's the next closest thing you got.
Yes. What about
Mhm.
water? Do you work with rivers? Do you work with rivers like
Yeah,
in streams or lakes or sea? You do water
yeah.
offerings as
But
well.
when I'm working with the rivers and like say the ocean or any water deities, I don't really tie that to. I guess it could be because I tied really my Cromanti spirits to Ubia. So when I think about Ubia, I'm thinking about my ancestral spirits. Now I am born with other deities that walk with me, that resides in rivers and oceans, and some resides within different parts of nature. Yeah, so that's when I'll go there for them. But I don't. I just equate that to spirituality. This high resonated ancestors that walked alongside with God. That we'll kind of consider them, in a lack of better words, angels or orishas, where they do work directly
Mhm.
with God. They are highly deitized ancestors, but and they do tend to have, what do you call, they do resonate with certain
Okay.
parts of the
In
earth.
your practice now, which of the orishas do you work closely with? Mhm. Which
That I won't
orishas do
say.
you work
I
closely
won't
with
say who I work
in your
directly.
practice? Like,
I won't say who I work directly with as an Orisha, because I definitely do work with Orisha. But I would definitely say that besides the one that I definitely work with, Ashun is one of my favorite deities to actually work with, and Ogun as well.
mhm.
I like working with those two.
Okay. Okay. What about issue? Issue. You don't work with issue. Why?
Eshu's a dope ass spirit, man. Eshu's a dope ass spirit. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think in order for you to deal with Yoruba spirituality, you have to have your Eshu, because there's a lot of different Eshus. The one that or the one that's gonna come and work with you, yeah, that's major. But I won't say that every spiritual person in Obia works with Eshu, because like I said, it depends on the tribe that work with you. I tend to have the tribes that work with me that works with Eshu, that works with the spirit named Nkuyu. I tried to work with what they call him, Anansi, but Anansi won't work with me. So when I asked him if you work with me, he
Okay.
said no. Nah. You get what I'm saying? But Eshu and Nkuyu and the other spirit from the Congo, Nkuyu, yeah, they definitely will work with me. And I say any gatekeeper is a dope spirit because they could do a lot. They're very versatile, and if they choose to rock with you, they're not going to leave you behind anything. And that, to me, that's where you learn a lot of secrets is through them as well. But yeah,
Yes.
I mostly
So
work with
how do you see Oshun mix in OB? Oshun, we have Oshun have many faces. We have Oshun as the dark feminine. Then we have Oshun as the mother of life, as Oshun, the face of the family. Oshun is a deity that brings unity, life, vitality, fertility, creativity to the world. How
yeah,
do which aspect do you work with Oshun
that well,
in
the way
general?
she comes to me, she's very feminine. She likes a lot of luxury. She likes expensive stuff. Um, it's so funny because when I first started practicing with Oshun, I used to take the rum in my mouth and I'll spray it. And one day I heard in my voice, "Don't you dare spray on me. I'm a lady. Don't ever throw any liquor on me like that again." So it let me know the type, because there's other
Yeah.
female deities that I work with that they would allow me to spray out my mouth. But when I work with those shoes, she wants me to put it in a cup. I can't go to her and spray water on her, spray rum on her. I can't. I have to put it in a cup and place it in front of her, else she's gonna take offense to it. She takes offense to it. So she is I like working with her because she represents like things that I like in life. She gives you a sweet life. You understand? And if something gets rough, Oshun is gonna sweeten it out for you. But there is a side to her that when you do work with her, she is not something to take lightly. It's a side that it works sweet, and then it could snap like that if you do something that she doesn't like. and that's what I actually come understanding with her. Like when
Okay.
like I said, when I sprayed her, my first time spraying the rum on her, she like I felt it automatic. She was pissed, because I'm somebody. What do you call when I work with spirit? I could feel. Sometimes I hear, so I could feel the energy, and sometimes I would hear what they're saying
Okay.
to me as well. So yeah, when I was able to work with Oshun, that's the thing that she let me know she doesn't like that. But Oshun is a dope spirit. She's a spirit that like I said, that to me she could snap, not really snap, but once she gets mad, there is no in between. She just goes
Wow.
0 to 100. Is that how she works with you guys out there as well? Because I understand that Oshun comes to people differently.
Yes. Yes. So the way she works with us here, she's like that. Nobody ever spray rum. We don't spray rum on higher.
Oh, you don't?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
We just carry your offering. You will do well. We do libation to her. You can call her name during libation. Then we do a water offering. Carry the items. We go to the river and present the items. So respectfully to her. This is the way we have always worked with her. Yeah.
Yeah, she
No
doesn't. She
spraying is
doesn't like.
issue that you can spray rum. Issue you can spray rum. Ogun you can spray rum. They
Oh,
don't
okay.
mind. But
Yeah. They don't mind that.
issue no
Yeah.
spraying of rum.
And she doesn't like, and
Mm-hmm.
from
No
the
spraying of
one where
rum.
she comes to me, she doesn't like cigar smoke neither. I have to give her like incense, like sweet incense. She doesn't like cigars.
Yeah.
No,
No
yeah, none
smoke.
of that around her.
She doesn't like cigar. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's funny because I
Okay.
see some people in diaspora where they will have some similar, and they will offer cigars and rums and stuff like that to them. So I was like, that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's not how she works with me. So yeah, I can't do that.
No. With the days, it's like Ampo, Anubis, and this Mamorete, they like cigars. You can spray smoke to them. Some people won't spray weeds, give them strong drink. Those ones don't mind. One thing I notice, every kind of spirit have their own character. Every
Yeah.
spirit have their character, their personality, those kind of things. Okay,
Yeah.
some are
Mostly she likes
white, some are
champagne.
soft. Yeah, why? Of course, why not?
Yeah. I
Why
give
not?
her rum when
You love
that's what's
champagne.
there, but for the most part, she'll accept it for me, but that's not her favorite though.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Wow, that is nice. I'm glad that you have this kind of close working relationship with her. Okay.
Yeah, she's dope.
I want to
I
ask you,
like her.
are there any dangers to in your work now, OBA? What are the dangers of practice OBA? Is there any dangers to your kind of necromantic work with the ancestors? Is there dangers to it?
Yeah. There is a lot of danger. For one, well, if you talk about necromancy in the sense where we're not working just alone with our ancestors, but strangers, people that just died, there is some dangerousness to that. Your ancestors may not like them. That's another one. So if you're somebody who think that you're going to be working with your ancestors and these spirits at the same time, maybe somebody knows how to, but I have not was able to to come up with that one yet. I have to keep them separate. They can't work together. Um, some of the dangerous stuff that when it comes to Obia, especially being out here in America, dealing with the cemeteries, is that America cemeteries is inviting to every nationality, every spiritual system, every person who has a thought, right? So you could actually bump into people who are extremely racist or just don't like you for whatever reason. So when you're working with Obia
Mm-hmm.
in America, because it's different when you're in the islands. Majority of the time you go to a cemetery in the islands, everybody knew each other, or everybody, sometimes they even bury their people in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the same. But over here in the States, at least with New York, when you go into the cemetery could be, if you're just going is one thing, but going there to deal with spirit with that intent, it could lead to a lot of problems. Because like I said, there's some spirits that will actually know that you're not capable. Like they may play certain games with you. They know that let's say your mediumship is not all the way up there to what you think it is, and they will turn around and try to manipulate you into their favor or what they feel like doing. If you're somebody who they realize is weak-minded and they like to smoke, you will be smoking. If there's somebody who like to, because these things could jump on your body. This is another reason why, as an other person, to have good spiritual hygiene is important, because not only are the spirits in the cemetery attracted to you, spirits that just walk randomly is attracted to you. They see you as a portal where they could play. because you constantly opening up portals and working them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's extremely dangerous in the sense where if you don't know what you're doing and you're calling the wrong spirits, or you don't have a gatekeeper or something that could actually point to that spirit to come and work with you, then yeah, it could allow other things to come in and take the position of the spirit that you believe you're working with. So I would say that when it comes to dealing with Jamaican over here, there's a lot of, you have to be careful, because there's, especially if you're like me, you're a person who's by yourself, you don't really learn from other spiritualities. That means that every mistake that you're going to learn, you're going to learn through experience. The best thing I could tell people is, if you are trying to take on that path and you are by yourself, you have to make sure that you ask your ancestors for grace. Ask them to give you grace. That way you're able to recover from where you slipped. Because there's many times if my ancestors never gave me grace, I would have been out the game a long time ago. But, you know, a part of me is, I don't have fear of things like that, but at the same time, you don't want you don't want to fall crazy or fall in problems. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, if you are somebody who's going to deal with Jamaican Nubian, you don't have practitioners, make sure you deal with your ancestors and ask for grace, because you're going to need it, especially if there's somebody who wants to be a necromancer. You want to work with the people in the dead. Well, Jamaica, what I call duppy. If you want to do it duppy, you got to know what you're doing. You have to be very careful, because they're humans. And as everybody know, within Christianity, they say that humans have free will. Well, when they die, they have free will as well. Mm-hmm. So just keep that in remembrance. And like I like to tell people as well, usually when you go to the cemetery or you work with people who died, not all, but usually when you work with people that died, they're usually still stuck in a certain mind frame where they're attached to worldly things and pleasures and things of that nature, whatever they find pleasurable. So when you actually decide to start dealing with necromancy and working with the Dupidum, you have to take that into consideration.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Okay, I have a question. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
See what I want to ask you now. When somebody died, quite naturally, the belief is that they are supposed to reincarnate, right? So let's say somebody died, passed on, a man lived his life, lived up to 70, 80 years, and they have died. Quite naturally, our spirit supposed to have traveled to the next point of their spiritual ascension. So it's just supposed to be an empty corpse. Now, when somebody goes to the cemetery to like summon the spirit, which spirit are they calling? If it's already reincarnated, can you still invoke their spirit back to work with them? Is it possible?
What's the term?
Reincarnation.
Reincarnation. Yes, sorry. When it comes to reincarnation, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if people reincarnate or not. I've never had any proof, and that's something I never really asked the spirits, to be honest with you. I could see it definitely being possible, but I don't have any proof on that to say whether that is true or not, to say, you know. But this is what I could say about what I experienced working with the dead. Some dead, they don't want to play on Earth no more. They could have had a rough life. Especially if they had a rough life here. Sometimes if they had a rough life and they went to, they elevated and went to a certain realm or heaven or whatever you want to call it, majority of the time they're going to stay there. They're not going to want to come down to Earth and play, because what they experienced on Earth was too much for them. So they rather stay up there. So that's the most I've ever came across when it deals with spirits. It's either going to work with you or they're not going to work with you. Some spirits, they're not going to work with you. They're done. Like I come from a place in the Bronx where there's a very famous cemetery, and I was walking past a gravesite, and it ended up being a very famous individual. And I tried to petition the individual, and he was like, "Nah, I'm not working with you. Like, I'm good where I'm at." But then when you look at his gravesite, it's lined up with so much offerings. It's like, how are you going to entice a spirit like that when people are constantly coming giving their offerings? You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to reincarnation or just dealing with spirits, I don't know about that. But dealing with spirits, some spirits are going to work with you, some are not going to work with you. Some spirits, even if you think like, okay, this person lived a horrible life, there are certain times where that spirit does elevate and don't want to do that work anymore. There's certain times where I've worked with spirits that died in horrific ways, and they don't want to cause people that pain. They rather help. So, you know, sometimes people tell you, oh, if you want to do this type of work, get a military guy or get a police, and it doesn't really work that way. It's entirely up to the spirit. You don't even have to get a police. You don't even have, you know, it's all up to the spirit. If the spirit says yes, that's it, is yes. If the spirit says no, then that's it, is no. That's the only thing I can say. But like I said before, when it comes to reincarnation, I'm not going to talk on things I have no experience with.
Okay. Because I've come to realize that there are some when people call some ancestors, maybe people in the family, some respond, some don't respond for
Yeah,
whatever reason. So we just assume that
yeah.
those people that when you call some people, they don't answer, you don't hear from them, they have probably they have moved on. Maybe you have somebody you are very close together in life and then they pass over. You never hear from them again. You work in spirituality, you try to make contact with them. For whatever reason, they don't make contact with you. So I would
That's the
just
truth.
naturally assume that this person have moved on.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and another thing to that, watch you bring that up. When it comes to ancestors, not every ancestor is going to help you. Not some of them don't even want to deal
Mm-hmm.
with you. They're like, yo, they don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yo, listen, I'm going by myself. Some ancestors they won't come because sometimes this is what I've come across. Some of them are ashamed of what they were. Like they didn't do nothing to help the family. They may feel like, damn, like when they look back on their life, they're like, yo, like it's embarrassing. Like I didn't look out for my kids. I didn't look out for any family members. I didn't do nothing. And it kind of put them in a shame where they feel a certain way. And they usually don't come until they feel ready to come. Like it don't matter how much you call out to them, they're just not going to answer because they feel a sense of shame. I've seen that happen as well. Like I said, some ancestors, you may come from their loins, but they don't care. For maybe your grandparent or your mother or your father wasn't their favorite, and they're done. They're like, nah, don't call me for nothing. You know, you won't. So when it comes to ancestral, like what ancestry, um, like we were saying before, it's still necromancy. To me, it's a little bit more easier because these people have a connection with you, so it's less likely for them to want to just and take you off the map compared to somebody who doesn't know you and get frustrated with you and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna show you a lesson, and then they really give you a lesson. It's completely different. But yeah, ancestors, if people who, because ancestors is a major thing, but I like to tell people, don't think that just because you summon your ancestors, that means that they're going to work with you, or just because you summon your ancestors mean and they died mean that there's some all powerful sorcerer now that they're on the side of that end of the realms. You understand what what they were is pretty much what they're going to know. They make us see more because
Exactly.
they're in
This is
that
what
realm.
I've come across experience. Mhm.
Huh?
Not all people that died have kind of spiritual power to be able to do
Yeah.
anything in this
Yeah.
real world. Not
Yeah, it doesn't
everybody
work
that
that way.
died. The mentality we have here, especially in Nigeria, is that once the person died, we just become all knowing and all powerful automatically. It
Yes, yeah,
doesn't translate like that. I keep telling people
yeah,
that if the ancestor was a loafer, a stupid person in their lifetime, a drunkard, a chronic womanizer, this type of worldly affairs people, when they die, do you think they will be any better? It's not the same thing they are practicing in real life. They
nah,
will still practice in the spirit world.
still
Yes,
practice,
now.
still. It's
Yes, if the
rare.
ancestor was an
It's
idiot, the person, when he die, is he going to become an intelligent person? He will still
yeah,
become an idiot. And imagine you summoning that kind of person to come and work. What kind of work will that person want to do? So
yeah,
I will suspect that people that have strong ancestors, when the person practice spirituality in their life and they're very, very advanced at it, when that kind of person died, they'll become more powerful because they are
yeah,
conscious, they are
yeah,
aware, they know things before they cross over. If you have that kind
yeah,
of ancestor in your bloodline, you are very, very lucky.
yeah.
Very, very
And
lucky.
you
But most
also
of the time,
you also when like for instance, any when it's time for any of us to transition over, we have friends on the other side. It makes a major difference compared to somebody who never did anything and transitioned. You know, so this is why I even tell some people, this is
exactly.
why I tell people, even if you practice some form of spirituality on your own, if your ancestors wasn't that type of, and people like to say, oh, there's somebody in your family that practice. They just because you're a basketball player don't mean you're gonna be LeBron James. You get what I'm saying? Just because you're a soccer player don't mean you're gonna be Messi. Some people are gonna be sitting and some people are just not gonna be in the game. But a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people they just have this weird misconception that like you said, once someone dies and pass over, they become this highly enlightened being that knows all and can solve all. And I think this is where a lot of our practitioners fall short. Another thing I want to tell people too is your ancestors could get you into problems. They can make you cash a check that your ass can't cash, as they say, in the sense that if your ancestors are warmongers, they could put you in war. They will tell you to go to war and constantly beef for people because that's what they know. They haven't elevated. And if they don't know what the other person knows, and
Yes.
they're telling you to go cause problems over here, it could be and this person knows what to do with their ancestors, you could be in big problems. So sometimes even dealing with ancestors, you have to know which ones you're dealing with, which ones they all could be dealt with, but why are you dealing with them is really important, and where their ashe or their powers lie. That you have to know this. You have to know if they will even help you. These are major. This is like when it comes to necromancy. I tell anybody you want to practice necromancy, your family is what you should start with. But I also tell people if you don't have
Yeah.
the gift, and they say anybody could get the gift. I don't, like I tell people, I don't know if anybody could get it, because most of the people that I've come across that's into spirituality, some, not the majority, but some found it later on in life, but a lot was into this from they were kids and just kept playing with things and studying things, and then this is how they end up getting to where they're at now. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I'm leave it like that. Don't always trust ancestors. Be very careful with them,
So this
especially if you
best
come
place
from
to
some,
start.
huh?
Uh-huh. Your best advice would be for somebody start with your own ancestors first before
Yeah,
you proceed to working with other people's stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did the opposite. I was like, yo, listen, I'm going to the cemetery. Forget this. I did the opposite. But now that I've made
Okay.
those mistakes, I understand. This is how I understand that ancestors don't, especially when you have like my ancestors are Cremontes. A lot of them are tribal. So tribe tend to not trust other people that's not from their tribe. That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gonna stay that way. So when I was going out there and I was working with a lot of the dead, there was some of my ancestors that was getting pissed because now they want to play in the world too, but then I'm leaving them out. So I had to learn how to deal with everybody. And if you're somebody who's going to be practicing, this may be something that you need to learn as well, or take into consideration that you may be learning later on.
Okay. Thank you. There have been cases whereby, let's talk about pact working and pacts. I have
Mm-hmm.
had experience whereby you want to work with some certain spirits and we ask you to do a pact with them. A pact like a contract or a covenant.
Mm-hmm.
This covenant involves you agreeing to work with them for a certain length of time or to become part of them, to become part of their family. And
Yeah.
this is good in some way. I have experienced it's a normal thing for me. Me, I have made this kind of pact with many spirits. One thing is that to build a good relationship, working relationship with the spirit. Another thing is some spirit we say maybe this person we don't trust them or we want them to become close to us. Then
Mm-hmm.
or we want to be able to do something for them, but we want this to continue in the long
Yeah.
run. Part of my pact or covenant with my ancestors is to teach African spirituality, to bring this knowledge to people. It's something that I've already been doing naturally.
Yeah.
So I seems to say, okay, now that I am here in the spirits, should I call it business or the way of life or whatever?
It's business.
I need I need this help. I will do my best to teach as much as possible to wake up people, most of our brothers and sisters that are sleeping. I will do my best to bring them up. It's something I want to do passion
Mm-hmm.
naturally inside me. Then I will need some sort of assistance, protection, guidance, taking care of my welfare, as in monetary life. You need money to live life, right? You need
Yeah.
to pay
Yeah.
bills. I need this to be taken care of. And they
Yeah.
agree. So as far as you are doing this work, we'll be taking care of those needs for you. This is kind
Mm-hmm.
of the contract. Then I have come to see some white people that have came to me from time to time, and or to other practitioners, the spirit will tell them that this person needs to do a pact with us before anything. They have to do a covenant with us. If not, we will not help them. There was one long time ago, a lady came, and this lady, when I first started my practice, her parents were like slave traders.
Yeah.
They were people that were enslaving other people in America. And
Yeah.
I don't know, for whatever reason, she kind of had a guilt trip, and she wanted to. The spirit were telling her, you need to come. The spirits of the people the ancestors have killed are worrying her. She needs to come to African spirituality. They gave a specific message that she should grow a tree of blood or something like that to be venerating them. The message came that they told her she refused to do the thing. They wanted to have a pact with her. Recently, a white guy contacted me for this very reason. He was messing with African spirituality, and then the spirit holding. They told him that you need to have a pact. You need to show to renounce your ancestors and then accept us as your own new ancestors. And then this guy
They,
refused, and then he
they
came
told him
looking
that he
for
has to
help or
renounce
something
his
like that.
ancestors. They told him that he has to renounce his and then take up the
What
theirs.
I realized is that practice, the need to have a pact is very, very important. For the reason that the spirit will say, we don't, you need to be fully part of this thing. You need to come inside completely before we can help you or do anything with you.
Oh,
You
okay.
have you noticed this kind of experience? Okay.
N-
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it goes like this, right? To get help from a spirit, like let's say you have a spirit on you, you need to be cleansed, your road is blocked, things of that nature. We can help anybody. Like I can help anybody. That doesn't matter about the nation. For you to say you want to learn and learn secrets and work with spirit, that's completely different. That's not going to be for everybody. That I'll be honest with you, that's not for everybody. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
race doesn't even
Mm-hmm.
have to do with it. Some people be like, "Oh, I'm Jamaican, so that means that I automatically have a birthright to it." With who? Not over here. If I don't know you, if the spirits don't say, "Yo, listen, this person has potential to be a godchild. This person is going to honor the word of what they should keep and do certain things," I wouldn't teach them at all. And my ancestors would not allow me to teach them as well. So, like I tell people, some people, it's not so much, well, depending on who you are, race have to do it as well. But it's also a mentality thing. You understand? A lot of times you are judged by your mind when it comes to spirit. They look at your how you act, what's your thought process. Are you someone loyal to your word? Are you a snake? Are you coming here to spy and gain information? And it don't have to be spy to gain information for someone else. It could be for yourself. You could be somebody who just who's practicing, but I want to know how you do it. The spirit is going to look at that as treason. It's going to look at that in a negative light because you could be taking information from me to do negative work towards me. So, like when it comes to making pacts, though, um, I never use the
Exactly.
term pact because in Jamaica we say orders. In Jamaica we say, "Yo, where I put on the orders them." So once we put down the orders and the spirit says what they want for that order, then we just constantly keep giving the spirit. Obyaman, if you're working with spirits that came alongside you, there is no pacts. It's just you have to maintain the spirit and give the spirit the proper energy and tell it what to do so it can do it. Because from my understanding, spirits just don't move on its own unless they see something dramatic where like you're about to be night night, you're off this plane, then they sometimes will step in and do certain things. But in all actuality, then they're not going to step in every part of your life because that allows you to grow and give character. Sometimes they will allow you to get hit by certain negative energy so you can grow because they want you to step out of your comfort zone and get up and get going. You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to making pacts, like I said, we call them orders. There is definitely orders when it comes to the spirits, but I don't think it is simply um you do for me and I'll mess you up. If you don't do for me, I'll mess you up. It's simply if you don't do what I'm asking required for, then I don't have the energy to do and protect you, if that makes any sense. Because some people, when they get involved in packs, from what I hear, it's like if you don't give the spirit what they ask
Yeah,
for, they
it makes a
attack
lot
you.
of sense.
It attacks you. But from my understanding, it's not so much they attack you, they pull away their protection from you because you're not giving them the energy and the things that they constantly need to work for you. So once you stop giving them those energy, if you say a prayer, that's energy. If you give libation, that's energy. If you give a candle, that's energy. Does not always have to be in just the red liquid being offered, the hot red liquid. I don't know if we could what we could say on social media or can't, but you get what I'm saying. The ebo. It's not so much all about just that. It's about if you
Mm-hmm.
gather what I'm saying. It's about what. Yeah, let's just leave. I'm leave it like that. It's just really much about how you, what the spirit wants, basically. It's not
Let me
and
just use
they
attention.
need it
Anything
for
we
a
focus
specific
our
reason.
attention, Bruce. Yes, you are very right about
Do
that.
what?
You are very, very right. Mhm.
Yeah, because there's sometimes I
When
used to
anything you
think,
focus your attention on, Bruce.
yeah, 'cause I used to think that everything that I used to have to give an offering, I needed to give an animal. When I first started, I was like, damn, I need an animal. And then as I started dealing with spirit, they let me, bro, sometimes it's just water. Just offer water. Not everything is a big old grand scheme of this is what I need. Like, sometimes it could just be an incense stick. It's whatever the spirit wants. Why they need or want it, I don't get into all that. Whatever they say they need or want, I just give them it. So yeah,
Mhm. You are very right about this. So in the process of working with the spirit, we must actually be giving them that attention.
yeah,
Attention is very, very necessary. Some people have the mentality of saying that if I give this offering today, I don't need to do anything for the next 7 months. This is
yeah,
we have that mentality in Nigeria here. Most people think that if I just do one spell today, the spell is going to carry me for the rest of my life. I keep telling them, no, you have to do it constantly. We will do
yeah,
the
yeah,
spiritual bath. If I do one spiritual bath today, I still need to do another one next week because you meet people every day. When you
yeah,
meet people, you interact, you go to parties, you rub body and you pick things up. You pick vibrations, you pick frequencies. So it's something we must do constantly. So when I
yeah.
tell people, oh, you need to be using this spiritual oil, or they think I want to sell it. That's why I keep telling that I need to. I say you must do it, buy it regularly because you interact regularly. You eat every day. So you cannot say because I eat 2 weeks ago, I will not eat any, you will still get hungry. So you must keep eating, right? You must keep
Yeah,
doing the spiritual work daily. When you live in that
yeah,
spiritual life, almost every day, at least I light candles, I burn insects, I do the baths. It is a constant thing, a constant practice.
yeah,
This is how
yeah,
you keep the energy alive. This is how you keep the energy flowing. You must do
yeah.
it right. This is what I tell people to do, but many people not understand. Spirituality
Yeah,
is a bit expensive, but it's not expensive if you know how to do it.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think what happened is most people watch other people's spiritual practices, see what they do, and then they say that's the only way it can be done because they don't really have a true connection with spirit or able to commune with spirit in the strongest way. So they think everything has to be in a big grand scheme of things, and it's not always like that. Sometimes it could be a simple offering, especially when you're doing work for positivity. Especially when you're doing work for positivity, not everything has to be a
Mm-hmm.
bloodshed. Not everything has to be $1,000 offerings, or you got hundreds of bananas and hundreds of apples and hundreds of watermelons. Not It's not always like that when it comes to spirituality. Yeah, it's not always like that at all. Sometimes it actually will shock
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yes,
Sometimes
you're
one
right.
can of soda could do something. Sometimes one can of soda could do some real good shit. It's not how it's just about.
Yes,
It's
it's
all up to the
true.
spirit and the connection you have with the spirit. That's another thing. Some people, like for instance, clients. When I have clients, there's certain clients I know the time frame of where I'm going to hear back from them again because they get one service done for me and everything goes good. And I see them about like a year and a half because I haven't heard from them any other time. You see, when a year and a half
Oh,
go and they haven't cleansed, they haven't done altered, they haven't did anything.
hello.
Yeah, could you hear me? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I have
You're
like
saying
it's like
something
even with
about clients that
yeah, it's like even with clients. Some clients I know when I'm gonna see them again. I know I say, okay, I'm gonna see this client about a year and a half from now, because they'll say, listen, I'm having all type of troubles with my life. Things can't go ever. I go into divination. I see what's the problem. I say, okay, we could do this. They agree to it. We get it done. They see all the results. They love it, but they think it's a one-time fix. And I'm trying to listen. This is not. If I have to constantly do things, you're definitely gonna have to constantly do things, and that's just how it works. And some people they feel it's a one-time fix,
Exactly.
and then they wait till problems reoccur. And usually, with what depending on the work that you're asking for, sometimes and depending on how your life is living, that's another thing. If you're somebody who's very social and amongst low vibrational people, it's gonna wear off pretty fast. So a lot of people who I'm around, they
Exactly.
tend to they like to be out in the public, out in the bars, and things of that nature. So I know usually when I do work for them to clean them up, it's usually about a year and a half, sometimes 2 years, and I start to hear back from them. And they all, if I do, let's say if I do something in 2025 in August, by 2026 around August, they all start hitting me up. All of them will start hitting me up again and say, "Listen, I don't know what's going on." I'm like, "You don't know what's going on. Like, it's not a one-time fix." I always tell people the same way you take a bath every day you're supposed to be taking a bath every day to remove the gook and filth that you come from outside. The physical gook and filth that you have from outside is the same way you have to take a bath to remove the spiritual gook and filth that you acquired from outside. Sometimes you don't even have to go anywhere. Sometimes it could be while you walking, somebody's giving your back the dirtiest look, and their spirit guides and whatever walks with them knows what they're doing, and then they put all that negativity on you. You don't have to do anything. All you gotta do is just live and walk, and as people just envy you and just throw hate towards you, and just simple like that. That simple hate after time and time and time, and you not cleansing, could cause a lot of problems in your life. And that's not even someone doing witchcraft. That's just ill intent, strictly ill intent. So yeah, spiritual hygiene
Well,
is very
witchcraft by
important.
accidental, let me call it accidental witchcraft.
Yeah, accident. There you go.
As
Yeah,
way they're hating on you, jealousy you, they are sending negative energy towards you, wishing you dead, wishing you misfortune. Accidental
and
witchcraft.
and you
The
know not to cut you, but it's funny that you say accidental witchcraft because when I first was getting into this, those I would get messages that someone was doing witchcraft on the individual, right? Not all the time, there's certain situations, and I had to understand the difference between someone praying ill intent and someone actually doing witchcraft. Could the spirit could pick up both. If like let's say if I have ill thoughts towards you and I'm working with my spirits, they're gonna act just because they realize like, hold on, he's putting a lot of negative, ill intent towards this individual. This is why I try to keep calm and relaxed as much as possible. So, but that's me, and it can actually take effect really quick because I'm constantly working with spirit. Now, somebody who's not constantly working with spirit, they it's gonna take a set, but the effect may not be as strong as somebody who's a practitioner that's working with the spirit. So I realized that my spirit will still look at that as them practicing witchcraft because they explained to me they're sending their whatever spiritual court they have to attack you. Once someone gives you negative energy, evil eye, anything of that nature, it's their spiritual team coming to deal with your problem. That's what from what my spirits tell me, that's what a lot of people consider karma. It's people's spiritual team teaming up against you. And the more people you keep doing wrong by, their spiritual team constantly keeps this is more and more and more till whatever happens, happens. That's usually how it goes.
uh, yeah, it happens like that. So you have a very solid point there. I agree. Okay. I want to ask you about the role of destiny in spiritual growth. Do you think that our spiritual growth have to do with our destiny in a way? Uh, why do we choose to become more spiritual? And is it as a result of faith or a personal inclination? Or how do you think spirituality and destiny intermix or interwove?
Well, I think from if I gather what you understand, I think spiritual destiny is very important because everybody, from what I understand, everybody chooses their destiny before they even get here. Things just come into play that stops you from fulfilling it. This is usually why we have to cling close to the ancestors, or in my tribe, what I call the Yenkunku, to be close with them so that way they could constantly make sure that our roads are protected, that nothing is coming in to distract us, is stopping us from hitting our goal. Um, when it comes to the spiritual aspect, like getting a close connection to it, if you wasn't raised this way, in my opinion, the only way you're ever gonna have a strong connection to, I call this God. So the only way you have a strong connection to God is unless you're suffering. No one goes to God when they're doing their best. If you had millions of dollars and everything was going good, you had many wives and your children was doing good, you drive the cars you want to drive, chances are you would even bat an eye to think of God. It's usually when you're at your lowest form that you tend to look towards that entity or ancestor. When I say people, when anybody's watching, when I say God, I'm referring to the ancestors, I'm referring to the Orish, I'm referring to everything as a whole, because to me, they're all aspects of him.
Mhm.
Like my ancestors would say,
Yeah.
God is the president, so not everybody's going to speak to the president, but you could talk to the senators, you could talk to your police, your local police station, whatever the case may be, so you to get the work. This is how spirituality is as well. Like not everybody is going to do a God, but our question was,
Destiny and spiritual growth.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
so most people are not going to go into to become to
Yes.
grow spiritually if they don't have some form of, I use the word suffering, but I would say being uncomfortable. If your spirits don't make you uncomfortable, you're not going to spiritually grow, in my opinion, because like I said, you don't look to get closer to the spirit unless you're suffering and you can't find any way out. That's when you start thinking. The average person starts thinking. Like my clients don't hit me when
That's
things
where
are, I never hear
most
my
people do.
clients, I never hear from my clients when they're doing good. I hear from them when they don't keep up what they were supposed to do and things start going bad. That's when I hear from them. But if they were making millions, I wouldn't hear from them. So yeah, in order for to spiritual growth, you is either you have to be raised that way or you got to be so down on your luck that's the only out that you see. Because that's kind of what happened to me. It's when you reach to your lowest point and the only
There's a
thing you
saying
have left.
in Nigeria. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
No, I say when you
There's a
me,
saying that
go ahead, go ahead.
we have a saying here in Nigeria that no one goes to the native doctor to find out why they are doing well in life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
No one goes there.
it's not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all.
They
So
only
yeah,
go
that
there to have
you,
problems.
you need sufferation to grow, but it's not to dwell in suffering. It's to you have to work your way out of it. You know, with the faith and the guidance of God or the ancestors, whichever one.
In my case, right from if when I was I remember when I was 6, 7 years, I was in primary one. I always have this quest to want to know, to go beyond. I always knew that something was wrong with Christianity. The way my family, they were very religious, taking this.
Yeah,
I always knew something was wrong, but I don't have any way to explain it
mm,
until I discovered the truth about African spirituality and African history. That was where my mind
yeah,
rests. But along my life, I have difficulties. For me, the difficulties were like just normal things you have to go through in life. No person can become great or you can become an independent person without going through a bit of difficulty. Challenges are meant to be overcome. I have always had this kind of mindset.
mm,
So for me, I don't really need that problems have to push me to discover. But for most people, it pushes them to discover spirituality. Most people I see, especially the crowd of people inside our churches, especially in Nigeria, you were saying that Nigeria have more churches more than Jamaica. Nigeria is
oh yeah.
worse. We have
There's a lot of
every
churches.
church is worse.
Yeah,
Oh God, we have so many of them. Mushroom churches, salvation. All these men of dogs, they claim that they know God, that will take you to the heaven. All of them are just interested in the bottom line, making money from people. And then, of course, they are cashing out. It's a big deal
yeah.
for them.
I think with Christianity got a bad rep because of its practitioners. A lot of times, the
Mm-hmm.
practitioners they're very closed off to any form of other information. They're closed off to like I had to ask somebody one time. I said, like, I don't think it's their God doing this. I said, this use your head. Jesus was born probably, I think I forgot how many thousands of years ago. where there wasn't no trains, there wasn't no planes, there wasn't no buses, there probably wasn't even
Mm-hmm.
roadways. How could he reach? And I'm just using this as an example because it's the farthest place I can think of where they said Jesus originated. But they believe that because Jesus was there, that there could be no God in Mexico. So basically, people in Mexico didn't have no God because they had to wait for Jesus to come all the way from up where he came from to reach down there. And anything that they considered a God before that was considered devil. This is my problem with their reasoning, is that they believe that God is everywhere in the world, or he's omnipresent, meaning he's present to everything in the world, but you can only get to him through one person that died thousands of years ago, and his name is Jesus. That's the only way you can get through God. You can't get through no other way. This is my problem with them. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think their God says that.
They
I
have to
think that's
create
something
that.
they
That is the
created.
that is when their entry point. Yes, they need to create
Yeah,
an entry point for them to come into your life with it, Jesus Christ. This Jesus
yeah,
Christ is the gateway to enslavement. Because
yeah.
when they
And
say
this
you
is my
can only
problem with
come
them.
in through him, who are the ones that is managing who are the ones that created this psychoprome called Jesus Christ? It is them. White
Yeah,
supremacy, the Roman Empire. You have to come in through their gates. And when you come in through, they micromanage you, you become their slave, you become their
yeah,
puppets. This is the
yeah,
entry point. When somebody now takes your spirituality and takes it outside, exterior, and now creates a medium for you to come through, that is how they capture you. You see
yeah.
the scam?
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's what I said.
spirituality is a
I,
direct connection with
I don't have a hate towards Christianity or to Christians. Is to me they're very ignorant in the information that they know. And like I always tell people, if Jesus was supposed to come back and create miracles, the Christians would kill him. That's the honest truth. If somebody was supposed to come back right now and say they're the son of God
they will
and they
definitely kill
perform
him.
and they walk on water, the Christians will hang him. Maybe that's why Jesus never came back.
Exactly.
I know a lot of them not gonna like that, but yeah, but
It's never
to
coming
me,
back. It's totally made up. It's totally made up for this very reason, to enslave people, to make people worship the image of white supremacy. This is why
yeah,
they created him. That's why everything has to be this way, to enslave people. We already know the scam, and we are exposing it every day by day by day. We are exposing the job.
yeah.
Okay, their time is getting shorter every day. I want a system called washing of deities. What do you mean by it when they say they wash deity for somebody? Like some people, we have this trend in African spirituality where it's not a fade or a fashion for people to say they are a priest, they practice in African spirituality, they are a priestess, so and so. And people just want to come in, get initiations, and start parading themselves that they are certified to practice of African spirituality. How do you
Mm.
deal with this kind of people?
Um, by telling them no, so no, you can't join. Um, all right. So you're saying that with the wash deities, right? So you're saying that people that want to come in and join and get deities. I don't believe in giving out. I don't believe in giving out deities the way that some people do because I feel like you have to have a certain level of maturity and understanding before you're even able to deal with the spirit because it's like a lot of people who come to spirituality, they have a very childlike um way of approaching this thing. They think that is always just all white glitz and glam, that there's nothing dark that could actually come out of the white and glitz and glam. Like I was saying earlier with offending a deity, offending a spirit. You could offend any spirit. I know people that practice working with angels like the archangel Michael and things like that, and they summoned them and their life went horribly wrong because they did things that they did certain steps that they wasn't supposed to do, or maybe the spirit didn't want to deal with them, and they had to come to me and I had to clean them up and take all that filth off of them. So me personally, I feel that if when it comes wash deities, that's usually, from what I understand, that's usually spirits that aren't completely fed. They kind of just prepared a certain way for the practitioner, so it doesn't have too much energy to do just in case something do backlash, it doesn't like hurt the servant or whatever you want to call them. But when it comes to this giving away deities, I don't believe in giving deities unless you're a priest or a priestess or something to that nature. I think you should just provide the people work. If majority of the people they don't that come to me, they don't want to worship something every week. They don't want that. They say, listen, I got problems. I want this problem taken care of. That's all I do. If they have a problem, I just take care of it. Now, if they ask me how could they maintain it and things of that nature, then we could get a little further into that. But it will be with what they have. I won't think I'll just bring anybody into my spirituality because, like I said, I have to physically know your mentality. You have to be of a certain age too, as well, so that way you have a certain life experience when it comes to me giving out anything. Because, in my opinion, I watch a lot of social media, and you have people they're young. They're 19, 20. If people knew what I was like when I was 19, 20, I was a whole different individual compared to what I am now. I was more
Yes.
into extra shit on the streets. So if I was supposed to be wielding the knowledge of, like, let's say a Babalawo at that year, a Babalawo at those years without the proper guidance and training, I'm gonna do a lot of dumb stuff. And this is what I constantly see on social media. So it's like the washing of the deities, I agree with to some degree, because especially if there are people going to initiate, I believe like a lot of them should be given wash deities at first to learn how to truly honor and respect the energies that comes with it. So they get it, and once they show that they're serious about it, then you introduce them into what they should have. I don't think anybody should just be given deities like that, though. Does that answer your question, or did
Yes,
I
yes,
start?
yes, you're right.
Okay.
There's a practice that they do in Nigeria here. We have a black market for buying and selling of deities. I call it spirit trafficking.
Yeah.
They do human trafficking. We have spirit trafficking in here. Yeah, serious matter. You can go to a market, you see lots of different kind of deities. They sell, we buy and sell deities. People can
Yeah.
sell, you can say, I want to buy Olokun, I want to buy Oshun, buy Eshu. We have so many deities with different names. They are not even orishas. Many of them are parasites. These
Yeah.
parasitic deities that evil people, they sell them in the market. You can come to Nigeria, I'll take you to a market. They sell deities.
Yeah,
We
I want
buy
to come
them,
out to
people buy
Nigeria, so
them,
don't
and
tell
we
me
put
that.
them
I
in.
definitely want to come out there.
Wow, you'll be shocked with what you see. We have a black market for spirit trafficking.
Yeah.
I don't know the name, but it happens here. We buy deities and sell. People buy and sell deities the way we buy properties. It is very normal here. So I don't know if they have it in Jamaica, but what some people will do in your necromantic work, they can take an item. Let's say that we take a effigy, they can take a spirit and then we bind it to it. Can take the soul of somebody, bind it to the end to the item, and then they sell it to somebody that
Yeah.
somebody will buy and be using that spirit to work for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have
Do
that in the
you guys
States as
practice
well.
something like that too?
Yeah,
Okay,
they
yes.
definitely do over here in the States. So yeah, people could sell you spirits. It's
Mm-hmm.
not so mostly deities, but there are some people that do recruit certain spirits from, like, let's say the cemetery or wherever they get the spirits from, and sometimes they would you could go to somebody that you may know and say, yo, listen, I need a spirit for this. And then they would actually employ the spirit for you, or they'll go get one that's like that for you. And then you can actually work with them. Some people
Mm-hmm.
in America too, they have things called haunted dolls. That's a big thing that I see going on. I don't know how long it's been going on, but it is something that I see going on, and they sell dolls, and these dolls are usually possessed, and they'll tell you the type of entity it was, if it lived on Earth, if it didn't live on Earth, what's his likes, what's it don't likes, and then people take them. Some people take them to work with them, and some people have them like friends. It's very different, where they just have them as friends, just have them in the house, you know.
Oh yes,
But
they call it
this
familiar.
it does happen over here as
Yes.
well.
Mm-hmm. It's familiar. Okay, great,
Yeah,
great.
they
It's something that I've come to see. It's a familiar spirit, or just add it to your
yeah,
family of spirits. Okay.
yeah.
That brings me to the uh, topic of betting of deities. When you bring a deity into this physical world, and you bind that deity to yourself, you have to have a responsibility of maintaining this deity. The deity now becomes your family, like a family member. You're like a brother or sister, but they are in the
Yeah.
spirits while you are physical.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the person crosses over, transitions and die, that deity still remains here in the physical world,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you deal with that spirits? We have that kind of problem here in Africa. A lot of people bet deities. They buy these familiars, they use them, they work with them, and the way they die, the spirit remains, and the spirit wants a family member to be working with them, and nobody wants to work with them, and nobody even knows that they have this kind of
Sometimes that could be the curse
spirit
that's set upon your
familiar.
family.
So what naturally ends up, that spirit familiar now start tormenting the children of that person. It now becomes a cost to the family. We have that
Yeah.
problem here in Nigeria. Many people work with the spirits and die. The spirits still remain in the physical world. They have nothing to do, nowhere to go, and they just end up becoming nuisance,
Well,
working havoc.
over here, it's something similar to that. But if your family did practice, if you have certain family members that did practice and they didn't teach the next generation how to practice and to maintain
Mhm.
the spiritual health of the family, it does tend to hit that family pretty hard because I like to say, like, certain people have a certain air about them, a certain grace that you could see, or or the spirits could see rather. And if they realize that you're someone who's not any wiser, they will try to manipulate it. So, um, you do have some situations over here in the States where my situation was similar to that, where my family did practice and no one kept up with the practice, and it kind of went out of control. And now that like they found me because I was the only one that was really. I have family that's into spirituality, but when it comes to working with spirit, I'm the one that's like kind of the most extreme to say, or I look for the most knowledge. Let's put it that way. So when I first started, I used to have real good luck with money. Never had a problem when I was real young. As I started becoming of age, 10, 11, 12, life started spiraling crazy. By teenage years, completely crazy. This out of whack. And then once I started getting to spirituality and dealing, I started putting up my little altar with a cup of water and things like that. Cause I was always into like witchcraft to use a lack of words, to use I was always into spiritual things. So when I started actually getting into dealing with my family
Yes,
members
yes, I
that
can hear you
practice,
now.
and because they practiced and they didn't continue teaching anybody for a specific reason, I'm not going to get into that. Um, a lot of problems started happening within like around me and family members and things like that. And as I got older, because I was always into rock and things of that nature. So when you into rock, witchcraft kind of walk hand in hand with it a little bit, especially back in those days. Like, because rock was really rebellious. So I got into the whole put it on my altar and things of that nature. And then I started dealing with it and I seen a lot of things transpire for the better. I stopped dealing with it to go because, like I told you, my cousin was dealing with Ifa. So he introduced me to Ifa. So I started to learn about that. Then I started learning about Palo Mayombe and all these things. And I just abandoned my spirituality. Just abandoned. And my life went to shit again. and, and I
Wow.
was with the Palero, and the Palero was there one time with me, and he was actually working with an Nkuyu. And he said and he couldn't close the ceremony. He said he looked around. I wasn't initiated. He's looked around. I was there. He was like, "You come here." So I came to him. He said, "Yo, you used to practice some type of spirituality or have your own altar or something like that? Because I see spirits around you." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You try to get to like Ifa and try to do Palo and all that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You've been having problems getting to it, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Because your spirits got their own plans for you. You got to go back to them." So from he told me that, man, I went right back, stood up my altar, and I apologized. And I said, "You know what?
Great.
if y'all was so strong to stop this and to get their attention, what is it that you're really up to? Like, what is it that you guys really could do? So now I didn't want to know more about the Cuban ancestral practice, even though I gives a lot of shout out to the Cubans, because if it wasn't for their ancestral practice, I probably wouldn't have went as far as I did now, because Obia in Jamaica is very secretive. Is very, very secretive. I didn't find another Obia until I did a ceremony to tell my spirits, like, yo, let me know I'm not bugging. Let me know, say, yo, me not go mud. Like, what me I do is correct. Put me in path with other Jamaica
Wow.
Obia. And they actually put it. And then once I was able to, I started speaking with one in particular. And this brother was showing me, yo, he has spiritual pots. So when I was making my spiritual pots, I thought I was bugging. I was like, yo, baby, because I met other people that tried to build them, but it went bad for them. And they had to go to different systems to actually help them so that it get initiated, so that way they wouldn't be in problems anymore. But when I was building, I never had any problems. It's like, I was being guided. But I just wanted to make sure, because that's another thing I like to tell people. Fear is a very dangerous thing in spirituality. Your fear, not fear of it, the fear that you have within your mind could hinder you so much. So when I was building these things, and you're dealing with the dead, dealing with necromancy here, and I told you I skipped the ancestors. um,
Wow.
that's when I realized, like, yo, once I met the other Jamaican dudes, them start showing me fitting we on. I started realizing, like, okay, there are people that he like. Then that's when they let me know, like, yo, as an Obia man, and you coming up, because once they started realizing, they say, oh, yeah, man, them have really information. Like, I can't be wrong. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm on the path. Then they let me know, like, yo, listen, you starting your own house, you got to work it how you need to work it. You got to learn what you need to learn. That way, no one else know how to deal and mess you up, basically. Because it's certain
Hello.
spirituality, when they, go ahead.
I can hear
Okay,
you.
I'll say it. In certain spirituality, the first thing they want to know is what type of spirituality is this person using, so that way they have a better understanding to combat it. Well, in Jamaica Ubia, we don't really let anybody know how we do our work. That way it's harder to combat, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, once I was able to meet them and they let me know, like, yo, I wasn't bugging out, and they show me, like, yeah, man, that's what we do, Ethan, blah, 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 blah. And I'm starting, and they put it in my mind, like, yo, you're starting your own, basically your own covenant. You have your own thing going on. So you're gonna be the top dog for your spiritual house. So you gotta learn how to work with the plants out there in America. You gotta learn how to, and yo, I just took off from there, and I said, yo, you know what? I know I'm not going crazy, and I just ran full force, and I just started dealing with it. But yeah, back to what we was talking about. That's actually how I got to spirituality, is because there were spirits that were left, and nobody taught the next generation how to properly deal with them. So, like I said, just because of my curiosity of knowledge and wanted to learn and work, it's like all the information and everybody just came rushing towards me, and it was done from there.
Wow.
So,
I have to
mhm.
thank you for that too. We have this problem here in Nigeria too. Before colonization, we all practice African spirituality. Colonization came with Christianity, Islam, and it intercepted that practice. Many people just abandon the practice and just jump into Christianity, abandon the deities. And the deities were just there. They don't know how to continue with them. And also, to the influence of colonization, many of our deities were stolen and taken to museums. In Europe,
Yeah,
deities were stolen, artifacts were stolen. When you take imagine a deity that has been the center of unity, connection, and guidance to a group of people for the last 5,000 years, and somebody remove that thing, take it to Europe. What will happen is that a large portion of the soul of that community have been stolen. The people, first of all, they
indeed.
will be in shock. After shock, they will go into confusion, and they will go into trauma. We have this problem in Africa. A lot of our deities that are our centers, they were stolen and taken to European museums. Most of our elders, they think that, oh, there's when they see the white man, they see him with the technology, they think, no, there's no power in African spirituality. They throw away their own native deities. Some of them even burned their shrine. They became Christians. But this spirits and the deities are still present. Now these
Mm.
deities cannot work well with the people anymore. They can't interface. What we see is that dysfunction, and we see poverty, ignorance creeping in, and we see why many people are suffering in Africa. They lack the knowledge of connecting to their own divinity. That's why they are Christians today. That's why they are Muslims today. That knowledge, a lot of millions of people don't have it anymore. It has been stripped
Mhm.
from them, have been stolen from them, bastardized. Now, the deities they used to venerate, they can no longer understand how to venerate them anymore. So once in a while, some high-level ancestors from the family bloodline reincarnates into this modern day to come to connect the people back. When these people
Mm.
come, they are usually disregarded. They are usually treated as the black sheep of the family. They are usually oppressed and tortured, and sometimes they kill these people. In my family now, out of my present generation of my, I would say I'm the most spiritually conscious person out of all of
Mhm.
them. I
Yeah.
see myself as somebody that can be the person that we can bring that divine connection to that family. I'm the only person that can unite that family and take them to the spiritual knowledge back. But what happened to me? I was orchestrated from the family because I was not a Christian.
Mm.
I was taken out. People will not listen to me, and the evil spirits in the family make sure that, oh, this person should not. They don't want the person to bring progress or bring enlightenment to the family, so that we do join with other negative force to attack you. I've seen this happen
Mm.
to a lot of conscious spiritual people. Once you wake up and you see the child becoming conscious spiritually, what happens is that the ignorant people and the evil people, they rally together to start attacking that seed, attacking
You
that
see,
person to kill them, like kill them before they grow
yeah,
mentality. This is
yeah,
what we have now in Africa. Every family have one person that we, what we say, divergence, that we follow the path of African spirituality. But will that person be able to fulfill their mission? This is the problem. That person will
mm.
face a lot of difficulty. We face a lot of backlash. We face a lot of orchestration, and all these things just because they have that spirit inside them to want to change things, to go against the grain. It's not easy. It's a
Mm.
war. If you
Yeah, it
find
is.
yourself in that position, consider yourself privileged and consider yourself that you are not going to have a normal life.
Yeah,
You
no,
can't
you're
have a
not.
normal life. The only way
It's
you
a
can
lot of
even
jealousy.
survive is becoming close to your spirituality. The only way you can survive is practicing your spirituality. If you say you join, you leave your spirituality and become a Christian, most times they will just kill you. Make
Yeah,
sure that you
yeah,
don't proceed in your mission. There's a
yeah.
saying in my place that a tree that don't, a wood or a tree that don't want to be used as firewood must grow in front of the shrine. Tree we know
Hmm.
what made they use as firewood in front of shrine. What this means that if you don't want to be treated and discarded like an ordinary thing, you have to be very, very spiritual. Your leg must not be far from your shrine, meaning you must practice your spirituality constantly.
Hmm.
This is when I
Hmm.
discover this kind of people, this kind of children. These people come to me. Some of them come to me as students. I tell them, look, first of all, you have to pretend, hide your spirituality from your family, hide it from them. Pretend that you're still going to church, but you have to be practicing. This is the only way you can protect yourself. This is the only way the spirit can guide you, and the only way you can fulfill your mission. If you say you want to leave this path, they will destroy you totally.
Mm.
So we see this. I've seen this at every family. We from time we have somebody, and most times they kill these people off with
Mm.
difficulty, with hard life, with whatever. They just make sure that they don't fulfill the mission. Or how do you think about this kind of thing?
I see things like that over here, over things like that happen over here as well. Not so much family members, but more just other spiritual people and other practitioners. Jealousy is a really big thing over here. Like, like it's extremely big. Like if somebody says that they work, like me saying that I work with Orisha and not initiated could cause problem right there over here. That alone right there could cause a lot of problems because now you're gonna get a bunch of people. There's no way in hell you
Wow.
can work without being initiated. They feel that people feel that orishas, our spirits, are prisoners to human will. So whatever we feel that is gonna be, that's how it's gonna work. You can't tell spirits how to communicate. You can't tell spirits how to who they could deal with and who they can't deal with. If they choose to go over there, they choose to go over there. Um, and that's one of the biggest problems that I see happens out here in the States is a lot of jealousy. It's let me see if this person's really real, and I'm gonna throw a lot of negativity towards the way to see if they would
This is what I have also come to realize in slaves, so that you can just come to them, they are at the beck and call of humans anytime, anything you want to do. But in real life, it doesn't happen like that.
yeah.
In real
It's
life, it
like
doesn't happen.
in Jamaica, right? All right. It's like it's usually spirits work with what they have to work with, right? So in Jamaica, right? When it comes to Jamaicans, we have
Well,
dreams, or a lot of Caribbean people, in particular, they have dreams of the Orisha that they work with. The Orisha will come to them in dreams. Now, I was speaking to somebody before, and somebody asked me, because they're initiated, asked me why wouldn't the Orisha come to them in dreams? And I had to tell them, like, what popped up in my head was like, why would you need a dream? You have Odu, you have Babalawos, you have all type of things to decipher what's going on. Why would like, it's different when you come to somewhere where they have none of that. The Orisha gonna still make a way to let you know, listen, we still need you to do what we want you to do or what you're destined to do. So whether that be through a dream, whether that be through a psychic reading, whether that be through whatever, it doesn't only have to come through Odu. And this is a problem that a lot of people are having. They're having a problem with coming to that realization. They feel that Orisha could only be placed. They have the Christian mentality. The same way you can only go through Jesus Christ, you can only go through Orisha through Odu or whatever the case is. That's the only way you're gonna get it. They have a sick mind that they believe that we could control deities. They really believe that we could control deities. You can't control. You might could control lower, lesser dead people, familiars, but a deity you really can't control. Like it's just gonna. You can work with it how you want to work with it, but if it doesn't want to work with you, it's just gonna say no, and then that's it. You're not gonna get it. You're not gonna string it up and tie it up and tell and say that you have Eshu right here, and that you
well,
give
it's
Eshu no
very,
choice but
very
to work
stupid
with
for
you.
somebody to think that they can control a deity.
Yeah, it's
A
not like that.
deity is something that is more intelligent than you, intelligent being, like an alien.
Highly intelligent.
How do you want to control that kind of thing? It's impossible.
But
Or
what I would
sometimes they
say,
might give you. Mhm. You know why
but
they
what I
think
would
they
say,
can control? They believe that when they give the deity or offering, the deity do what they want. That means they can manipulate and control the deity by giving
mhm.
them offerings. Sometimes the deity doesn't even need those offerings to act. They just want to see how you will relate to them, how you are going to treat them. That is just what they want to
Yeah,
see, or how
it,
you
I,
will really respect them or honor them. That's just they don't really need that offering. They can get the offering by themselves, but they just want to see
sometimes
your
you just
behavior
have to say a prayer, bro. Like
towards
this is
them.
what we go back to before. Where I was like, it could be a cup of water, incense, it could be a prayer. Sometimes what we think the deity needs, it doesn't really need. Sometimes what you offer it is because you want to see it within a certain time frame. So this is why you tend to offer certain things to speed up the process. But the deity doesn't really
Exactly.
need that much. It's a never ending source from the creator itself. It has unlimited amount of energy. Like, and this is what a lot of people they don't want to realize it because a lot of people spend a lot of money for this, a lot of to get their initiations done.
Yes,
And I do want to tell people that it's not that normal for people to have dreams of an Orisha or dreams of a deity. It's not a normal thing. Like, it's not to say 2 out of every 10 is going to have that. No, it doesn't work that way. Is whatever was in your family blood. If you have a family blood that was related to whatever Orisha or working with whatever Orisha, then that Orisha is already aligned with you. That Orisha has to know if it likes you. Now, if it likes you, it will present itself. If it sees that whatever it sees in you is going to present itself. And like I tell people, sometimes it's not going to present itself because there's no need, because you have other systems or other ways to come about of finding if this person is chosen for that path or not. Some of us are born into places where that's not possible. So the Orishas are going to make other ways to make it possible. If you we may not go through an initiation of what they go through, but when we fall asleep and the spirit is hovering over us, they're doing something to help us get more enlightenment. So this is why I tell people it's not to say that everybody and their grandmother is going to have a dream from the Orisha. No, it is a select few. But to say that someone never have it or can't have it, that's blasphemy. It has been shown over time and time again through different traditions. Like it's not going to just come in one form. Spirituality or the spirit is adaptable. Why? Because God is everywhere in the world. So it went from cola nuts to coconuts. The people going to adapt with what they have to make it happen. So then back in the days, they probably would have told you can't do it. You can't do divination because you don't have cola nuts. Well, when they landed in the Caribbean, they found coconuts, and then they made that work. So spirituality is adaptable. Tradition, I always tell people, in my opinion, but this is coming from a sorcerer, so we just worry about work. Spirit don't really care about tradition. Humans, we care about tradition. Spirit care about you learning and understanding how to work with them, and they know that times change. You get what I'm saying? But if the average person was supposed to worry about giving their spirits honey, the majority of us will never be able to give the spirits honey because real honey is so rare in America. It's mostly high fructose corn syrup bullshit that we give, and it's still accepted because it's what we have. They understand what we're going through. That's how I tell people, tradition is more to soothe the soul of us as humans. It's not to soothe the spirit. The spirit is going to come through anyway. It's going to work with any plant that it finds congruent to its energy to work with. You get what I'm saying? It is not just focused on just whatever plants is only in Nigeria or Ghana, or even if you're from Mexico, but you moved away from Mexico and you have your Mexican spirituality or whatever, it's not going to just only work with the plants that come from Mexico. God is everywhere in the world. He put secrets all over the world. It's your job to go out and find it.
You are very right about this. We have to improvise. We have to adapt. That's why I keep telling people, a lot of practitioners in Nigeria, they are suffering today because they fail to update and upgrade their practice.
This is what causes so much problems. This is what's causing so much problems. No one wants to elevate
for them. When you tell them we need to change some things, they will say, no, my great-great-grandparents, this is the way they used to do it. This is the way I must do it. Now we have this problem. When we do water offerings, normally, I tell the people, you have to remove the plastic from the sweets. Anything you do, you must not pollute the water because you're doing offerings. But in my traditional place, they still do this thing. They put biscuits, they don't remove the plastic wrappers. They put everything with the plastic, with the chocolates inside the plastic, and with the bottles, and they just throw everything like that into the river. In my own water offering, before I do water offering, I remove everything from I remove it from the plastic. I don't throw plastic into the river because I know it will pollute the water. And the fishes that will eat this, they don't need the plastic. The fishes will eat this biscuit. They can't digest plastic. It will kill them. So I tell them when we do water offerings, we need to be eco-friendly, but they still don't listen. They will just empty all these things into the river just like that to pollute the river. We need to upgrade the practice, but many people still don't understand this.
They don't. It's like people don't understand. It's like for me, I know what you mean because I remove all plastic. If I'm giving candy, anything sweet, anything of that nature, I remove it plastic. Why? Because all of us as spiritualists, sorcerers, whatever you want to call, we're all pulling our energy from nature, whether it be the part of the cemetery, the woods, the river, the hot, whatever the case may be, we're pulling it from nature. Plastic and litter kills nature. How are you gonna? You don't think you can't kill the thing that's giving you your very power? You can't do that. So it's up to us to make constant understanding of what we're doing. To say like what's one of the biggest problems I have with up here? especially in New York, people taking their animals and it's dropping them, and every kids running around. They're doing. You're removing negative energy, and it says bring it to the woods. It's New York City. Kids go to the only ways we have woods is the parks. Majority of the time, unless you're driving way upstate or way to
Mm-hmm.
another state. If you're in New York City, we only have parks. That's where the woods are at. Kids go in these parks. We're dealing
Hello.
with, yeah. Could you hear me? Could you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Can you say that again? The network just please say that again.
Yeah. A lot of times in New York and other places too, but I'm more familiar with New York. They drop a lot of these offerings out in the open, especially in the parks. Kids play in the parks. How are you going to be removing negative energy to feed it back to the earth? But you're just gonna just lay. I'm talking about you see 3 roosters and feathers everywhere, blood everywhere. And this is a park where children play. As a spiritualist or a source or whatever, you're supposed to know how to be discreet with your work and cover it up so that way nobody knows. Because the first thing that people know, now we're doing witchcraft in the park. So they're gonna start doing? Looking out for us. And it's gonna be a
Mm-hmm.
problem. But just the simple fact, but just besides that, like I said
Yes.
before, just the fact that you have negative energy and kids are there, I'm not into hurting kids. That's not my thing. So wherever kids are at, I'm very mindful of where the energy I'm gonna leave because I understand that there's energies that could latch on to a kid if the kid has a certain thing about them that the spirit likes, and it will take set. And we have to take that into consideration. Now, I'm not gonna say every single time that that everybody is going to be able to do it perfectly, but we have to come up with certain ways. I came up with different ways where I don't do that. You get what I'm saying? And it's imperative for us to do that. We have to learn how to elevate our workings, where we leave the workings, how we leave the workings. I mean, I don't went to the beach and there's a whole duck dead sitting on the beach. A whole duck dead. Oh damn! I'm getting it's about to die. But I'm getting a whole duck
You
dead.
are very right about this. So these are
Yeah.
some of the
So
things that we need to do.
yeah, we have to
Mm-hmm.
start elevating because that's another reason that's caused a problem because people feel that you, if they can't elevate and get certain understandings, there's no way you're going to be able to elevate and get certain understandings. So what you're doing has to be false. Hold on a second, sorry. So, and there's a lot of people that have that understanding. You get me?
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I've come to see that most of our practice needs upgrading because we are living in modern time. Now we're using internet to communicate. I tell most people that if you want to do your practice, you need to come online. You have to kind of be certain level of adapting to modern day technologies. Okay. Many things we do. Some people say it's an abomination to show your altar. That since I'm showing my altar on the screen, that it is bad. I said that time has passed. This is not the only altar I have, and you need to have a background to represent your practice. I'm talking about African spirituality. People need to see when they see my surrounding. They need to know this is what I'm talking about, right? So I need to like to create that kind of thing. At the end of the day, everybody have their unique way of practicing. And what thing, with the way I do my practice, I try to extract the science from the tradition. I am not much of a traditionalist. I want to consider myself a traditionalist. I tell people I see myself as a spiritual scientist. I believe there's a lot of hidden science and advanced science in the practice of African spirituality that many people have forgotten or lost. So when I
Mm-hmm.
go to do the practice, I extract the science from the tradition and I run with the science. And that has helped me to develop and advance my spirituality uh, uh, in a very in a in a very advanced system of doing things that it makes me different from most other practitioners. It has given me the
Mm.
knowledge to be able to do so many things, to understand and to debunk many of the superstitious beliefs. And I believe that is the one of the best way of practicing because we need to evolve. If we don't
Yeah.
evolve the practice, the our future we cannot be able to create a better path for the next generation, and we cannot be able to make a difference. Everybody doing the same thing, nobody moves forward. You see that kind of trend where everybody is practicing the same thing. Everybody is a priest. Everybody believes that you have to be initiated. We cannot all be the same. Spirituality is individual. race. So the way I practice must not necessarily be the same way you practice. What really matters is results. Are you making progress? Are you getting
That's all
results?
that
Is this
matters.
working for you? Mhm. If it's
Hmm.
working for you, you're making progress, then by all means continue with what you are doing. Okay. I have tried most of the traditional ways to do. It's not was not working for me. You don't need to be initiated to practice African spirituality. I keep telling people, even the people that create that tradition, who initiated them to start that tradition? Was it not the spirits?
Hmm.
If the spirits initiate you, the spirits are the ones to initiate you. You don't need
Yeah,
that human. In human initiation is let me say, it's like a conferment. Like it's not everybody that needs to go to school to become educated. You can study at home. You can do your own
yeah.
schooling, read the books, do the right, and at the end of the day, you go and write your exam. You still pass. This is the way I see it. So I tell people that if you have this calling, don't think that, oh, I cannot start, or those people inside the system as a priest or a priestess, they are better than me. They are not better than you. And sometimes you can even learn more faster than them. You can have more knowledge than those people.
Mm.
So you just have to believe in yourself first and adapt yourself. Use what is in your environment. Use what you have to practice. You don't need to have those expensive altars, expensive items. You can practice with stuff from your kitchen. As you say, you use water, you use things from your fridge,
Hmm.
regular markets to make contact. Your nature is there. Nature is there for everybody. This is the way of practicing. It's supposed to be adaptable to your way of life based on your living
Hmm.
conditions. This is how you will
Hmm.
get the best results. You cannot be living the way people practice in Jamaica cannot be 100% same way you practice in Nigeria. The herbs here, plants here, different. You guys have your own stuff there. You will use what
Hmm.
is original to your environment. The spirits there are unique in the sense that where they come from is different places. It's a total mixture. So it must the flavor will be different. But it's the
Yeah,
same African spirituality, but the flavor. If I cook
yeah,
fried rice in Nigeria and you cook fried rice in Jamaica, it will not be exactly the same, but it's fried rice, right?
yeah.
The way
Indian
we
curry and
send
Jamaican
different, but it's
curry, two
still
different
fried rice.
curries. The whole room start getting hot. You got.
Yes, it's true. It's true. We need
Yeah,
to
okay, I
cool
got a
the place
question.
down. I have just on fan. Okay. So I want to ask you, have, have you ever asked the spirit that the spirit make contact with you to do a kind of ritual for mass awakening so that more people will awaken to spirituality? We have many brothers and sisters that are supposed to be here with us, but due to the proliferation of Christianity and foreign religions, they are now lost or they are just wasting away inside churches and mosques. Have you ever getting the inclination from the spirit to do a kind of ritual to awaken them, to bring them back to African spirituality, to raise the consciousness of the planet?
No, I've never received anything like that before. The most I get is maybe somebody come to me that and I can kind of know the spirit want me to help them because I get a soft spot for them. So it lets me know they're not gonna do a divination. They're like, yeah, they'll like me to help this individual. That has happened, not all the time, but it has happened. That's the closest I've ever come to
Okay.
that. But to say like I'm doing a
So
ceremony
sometimes we
to
get this because a lot of people are out of this knowledge, and we need to find a way to bring them back. Mhm.
my thing is a lot
Okay.
of when I sit down there and I commune with my spirits, a lot of them, my spirits, the understanding is the way that is going about now is completely wrong. Like the amount of priests that we have, the amount of initiations that's going on, who's being initiated, it's not supposed to be everybody's supposed to be initiated into priesthood. The majority, like I feel like everybody that goes to these African traditional religions or African derivative religions, they're all aiming to be a priest. And from what my spirits let me know, that's not how it
Mhm.
works. This is where a lot of the problem is coming in because you got people who don't have quote unquote the ashe to be together the understanding of what's going on. Like I'm sure you've experienced this. You spoke to spiritualists and you're breaking things down to them and they just can't understand it. They don't have the capacity to understand the information that you're trying to explain to them. And the simple way I look at it is that they don't. That's not their ashe to understand. They won't like no matter how much you try to break it down to them, it just won't get it because it's not in them to understand. That's not what they're here for. You know, some people don't like
Okay.
some people get mad, but
They
some
don't
people are
teach them.
hmm?
I think
Some
they
people are
lost
here
that knowledge.
some people are here to be
Mm.
scientists. Some people are here to build houses. Some people are here to be a model. Not everybody's here to do spiritual work for people. This is the problem that goes on, you
It's
know?
true. You have a point. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. And I think that the spirits too, they kind of allow people to exercise their free will in a way. They don't like to disturb people. They don't like to force people to come to work with them, except you have a particular destiny or that you have kind of have a connection with them. They
Yeah.
allow humans to exercise their free will, to learn from their mistake, to learn from their lesson, and say, okay, you just let you being ignorant, you will learn the lesson of being ignorant, and eventually, maybe in your next incarnation or something, you will wake up. They don't like to disturb people. But we that are practitioners, we see where the masses are going, and we really wish they would see what we see. We really wish that we understand. Sometimes we organize to do rites or mass awakening rites for people to increase the consciousness
I never even I never even I
of
never
the
even knew that existed.
masses.
I didn't
We
even
see
have a
people
thought
guys
about
sometimes have to
something
do
like
this
that.
mass rite or
Well, probably because like I said, I'm a sorcerer, so I'm a
for
Obi-Wan is
awakening.
practice individually and not community. So maybe the other people who are more community-based traditions from Jamaica, maybe they may be on that. But yeah, that's not something that comes to me because, like I said, I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe that the majority of the people are gonna have a awakening. It takes a certain level of um you got to be humble. For one, you have to be humble. Two, it takes a certain level of understanding that many people don't have. The average person, like I have people text me all the time, how do I get into Ubia? Contact your ancestors. They contact their ancestors. They said they text me, oh, I got a response. What should I do? That's not how it works. It's just like it's up to you now to learn how to work with the spirit. You know, like if that's what your calling is, that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to go to learn and work with the spirit. Now, it's to say not to say that there's nobody I don't teach,
Exactly.
but anytime I spoke with spirit and they told me that somebody is supposed to be a quote unquote godchild or a student of mine, it's so funny. It's people that I actually know and have good relationships for years. Like we grew up together. They're like, yo, there's a reason why y'all friends, you know.
It's true.
And then, and then that's where a lot of my people that I will teach things come from. It's not so much people off the internet or people on the street that I just randomly meet. It's people that have been around me for years. And it just so happens that my spirit was into spirituality and it come to happen that their spirit was into spirituality. You get me? And we all decided to follow each other out here. Now, the thing is, maybe I'm the one that's more into it than the other two, because I have to teach them. You get me? But for the most part, it's not supposed to be
Yeah.
where everybody has deities. It's not like that. And this is to me, this is one of the biggest problems, and it's going to continuously be that way because nobody is trying to learn. Like for instance, a lot of people want to go to Orisha work. Some of your tribes may not be into Orisha. They may be into Abosoms. They may be into another native group that's from America or the Caribbean or something like that. Not every single time you're dealing with spirituality and you're of Black descent means that it's always going to be 100% towards Africa. And you have to learn the spirits that walk with you because us in the diaspora, a lot of times we're mixed up with a lot of different things because of the different cultures that was
Yeah.
introduced, the tribes that were introduced, and through hundreds of years of us constantly mixing. Like I have certain family members that are of Indian descent. So a lot of them practice Hindu. When I was first getting into spirituality, there were certain movements I would do when I offer certain things like a candle or incense and things like that. When I started to learn Hindu or about Hindu, I started seeing some of those same gestures being presented to the Hindu gods. So it let me know that, okay, you know what? There's somebody in my ancestry that, because I know they used to practice, but they're showing me a way and why it makes sense and why I should do it this way to strengthen my spirituality. So I incorporate that into my spiritual house. Now, is it 100% African? No, it's this knowledge that came from Hindus. But doesn't mean it's not going to be effective or doesn't mean it can't work with my African spirits. No, it doesn't mean that. My main people the main ancestors who tend to work with me are the African ones. But it doesn't mean that I don't have other ancestries from other traditions that don't come in and help me with understanding, like, okay, you know what, use this and do this rather than working a traditional way, if you get what I'm saying.
It's true.
Mhm.
Sometimes we incorporate things from different spiritual systems. It is very normal. It's just the way we live our life. Most of the things we use now come from different parts of the world, but we use them to
Yeah,
make our life more richer,
you want to know
more.
you want to know
Mm,
one of the biggest ones that we use for one of the biggest ones, a peacock. That peacock that
wow,
everybody love and put to Oshun, that's from India. That's for Lakshmi. But we learned that it
wow,
could work with Oshun. The African peacocks don't look like that. American peacocks don't look like that. The only way you're gonna get that beautiful peacock that everybody know as a peacock is from India.
wow.
Yeah, but we
That's
incorporated it. So
nice.
yeah,
That's nice.
it's some of everything
We
that we take.
incorporate things from all over the world.
Yeah, because like we said before, God is not only found in one part of the world or in one set of people. He's found all over.
God is everywhere.
And
Divinity is
I like
everywhere.
to tell people that your God, your personal God, is your ancestors, because as the Bible said that you're made in the image of Him. Well, if you look at your parents, you're made in the image of that. You don't ever have to meet your parents, and you will have their mannerism. You can have their laughs. You can have their thought process. You could be attracted to the same type of woman, and you never even met your father. Your father liked that type of woman, and you never met him. But it's just DNA, just DNA.
DNA.
So that is to always tell people, when you the head honcho, I call him the head honcho, the supreme being, the God that we all
Wow.
talk about, that Christians like to talk about. He is rarely ever speaking to anybody. He's in charge of the whole universe. That's
Yes,
like
I
saying
can.
that you live in America, but you can speak to the president. You work at a job, but you can speak to the owner of the company. Like, just because God is in charge of everything, don't mean that you're always gonna have a connection to God. The closest thing that we have is the connection of our ancestors, all the way back to the first ancestors. And those first ancestors are the ones that
Exactly.
sit at the foot of God and make God hear our cries and our complaints. Because the first ancestors, that's who God put down here first. And then they had children and children and children and children, and this is how we come about. So your original God is your ancestors. Because like I said before, what the Bible says, you're made in the image of Him. The only people you could ever look and have the same image of is your parents. You can't have an image of something that never set foot on this earth. And the supreme being has never set foot on this earth. He sent custodials or people who work for him to set on this earth, such as our ancestors, but he himself never steps on this earth. And he's in charge of everything. Or she, depending on how you want to look at it, because you got some women that go like, why can't it be a she? Well, however you want to look at it. That supreme being doesn't really deal with everybody on average. The one person, the set of people that are your God is your ancestors. That's another thing.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very happy for this message that you have passed to us today. I'm very happy to have you. I think we can stop here for today. We have spoken about many things,
Okay.
and I'm very delighted. And
Same
I
with
will
us.
be very happy to have you on the show again. We'll be talking more and more.
Yeah, yeah,
But
definitely. Anytime you're ready. Because I focus, like, I want you to
signing
understand, I'm about
off
Jamaican up,
will be
but
it's a
more
very
than
deep
Jamaican
talk.
up.
Dive
Huh?
into deep.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to tell people that when it comes to Jamaican Nubian, it's something that I'm very is everything to me. It's what got me on my spiritual path, right? But Jamaican Ubia and any type of thing is just spirituality. We're all contacting spirits. We're all asking spirits for favor. and we all have our ways of doing it. The only thing that changes, like I said, the ways, how we're going to do it, that's what changes. But we're all pretty much doing the same thing. Everybody's contacting the spirit. Everybody's asking for the help from the other side and whatever we're asking for, whether that be good or bad. Because I'm tired of people acting as if spirituality is only supposed to be about good. I tell people all the time, God created the deer and he created the wolf that eats the deer just as much. So we have to understand that everything within nature is a duality out here. You know, it's not just going to be one side. This God didn't make the deer and the devil made the wolf.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work that way. You understand? So yeah, I'm really this I want people when I'm on here, like I said before, not to look to me as like
Okay.
a Jamaican spokesperson, just Obia man, a spokesperson for the Obia, but rather just a practitioner who's sharing his experience. Because at the end of the day, it's just pure spirituality. In my opinion, Jamaican Obia is just pure spirituality. You move by the spirits, you work with what they accept, what they don't accept, and that's it. It's not about tradition. It's not about, oh, you got to go climb up the highest mountain to find the rarest flower to present to your spirit. The only way you're gonna have power. This is not what this is about. It's everything is on hand. Everything is supposed to be right there. It's just, do you have the permission to work with them or not?
Okay. No problem. That is very wonderful. So I want to thank you very much for coming on today. Very delighted. I want you to tell the audience about yourself. Do you offer services for people? You take clients, people that have spiritual problems, you work for them. Do you do like spells for people, prosperity, love spell, open door
I don't
spells?
I don't really
Uh,
focus on love spells. It's annoying. Because that's a long story, but I with my clients. But I do spells for people as far as cleansings. If you're in a marriage, I'd rather help with people who's married or with the actual spouse that they're actually dealing with, and you have family and kids and you want to save that family and things of that nature. If you have any retribution, anybody who has you have problems with that's looking to harm you, I help with that as well. But yeah, mostly my things is cleansing and protection, really mostly cleansing and protection.
okay. Focus on protection, spiritual defense.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
that's really what
And
I most.
your YouTube channel, you have a YouTube channel, a TikTok channel. How can people reach out to you if people want to make contact with you?
Oh well, my everything is underneath Sorcerer Von Waugh, Von VON Waugh WAUGH. My cell phone number I usually tell people 929-385-1588. Text, call, WhatsApp, it don't matter. Um, but yeah, but I'm gonna be honest, just because I
No problem.
specialize in protection and things of that nature, doesn't mean that I'm not versed into other things. That's where I mostly rely at because that's where my ashe is, you know.
You also do divination for people as well.
Yes and no. It's not something I really like. I like for you to come to me with the problem, and then I'll divine if there is a problem and how I'm supposed to solve it. But for the most part, people don't have to come with me for readings. Like if you want to, you can, but that's not really my thing. If you know you have a problem, give me a call and I'll just solve it right there, and we just solve it. It ain't too much about reading.
If
Sometimes,
somebody wants a deity, you
huh?
to get a spirit for them to work with you, you not do it. Person want to do is give spirit or path.
No, I'm not. No, I don't
You
give away
don't like to,
spirits.
you don't do that one. If
I don't
somebody
do.
wants you to give them a spirit to work with them,
Yeah, I just do. No, I don't give away spirits or anything like that. Because why?
like a
It's like
deity.
if somebody said to me, listen, they want a spirit or somebody from the dead to work
Hello,
with. Yeah, could you hear me? Could
hello,
you
how
hear
you
me?
doing? Hello,
Yeah. Could you hear me?
yeah, I can
Could
hear
you hear
you
me?
now.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, if
yes.
somebody wants a spirit from the dead to work with, I could get them one, but I'm not guaranteed. And if you don't know how to control that spirit and deal with that spirit, that's on you. You get me? But I don't want to hear the reason why I don't do things like that is because I don't want to hear nothing backfire and then you're calling me and asking me 1,000 questions on how to solve your problem because I'm gonna tell you that's something you need to figure out. I'm not gonna just give away spirits because like I told you before, that's something that comes with a lot of even a lot of understanding, maturity, you have to have a certain willpower for me. Like other people, they'll sell whatever. Maybe in time I'll start doing that, but right now, no, I'm not into that. I'm more about giving services, helping people where they need help. Like that's pretty much what it's about. Protecting people where they need protection. If people need jobs, if people need better housing, things of that nature. Like I'm not into the whole selling spirits and things of that. I'm not into that. Like I said, I knows what that I know what that come with. There's a lot of people that say yeah, 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 yeah. And then when they get it, they scared and they don't. And if one thing goes out of whack and they don't know how to control it, they want to get rid of it. And it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that, oh, I made a pact with the spirit. Now it scares me. I don't want it no more. It doesn't work that way. So rather than me dealing with all that headache, I just don't
Yes.
serve that service. A lot of people want what they want until they get it, and
No
they don't
problem.
want it. A lot of people want Orisha,
Exactly. I
maintain
totally
Orisha,
understand you.
actually feed it, pay to get it read, pay to. Then there's a lot of problems, and they're like, damn, I just wanted a better life, you know. So sometimes giving spirits to people,
Mhm.
especially when you're not ready for it, is not really a thing. You know, it's not good for anybody because it could cause that person a lot of problems in their life, in their family life, their kids' life, whatever the case may be, till it gets the attention.
Exactly.
I'm gonna give
That
you a prime.
is one
I'm gonna give you a
thing
prime
to look
example.
out for. Okay.
I
For
had
me, it's
a
like adopting. The way I see it, it's like adopting a child. When you adopt a child to your family, you have to create provision for that child, and you have to take care of that child, and you have to deal with that child. And if the child proves to be unruly, you tried your best for the child does not want to just fit in. You can return the child back to the orphanage. This is the
yeah,
way I see it. But if the child
yeah,
is okay, the child is doing well, then it grows to become an adult and everything goes fine. But if the child
yeah.
misbehave, you try your best, you return it back to the orphanage where you get it from. Or you have to do the needful. If you
But
have
they
to take
told us
that
that they
child to
wasn't want to deal
prison,
with it.
you put them in prison if they commit a crime.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
That's
it's
why I
like
see it.
I'm gonna give you an example,
Uh-huh.
right? I knew somebody who was very was it was a sister of somebody I'm very cool with, very close with, and they know I'm into spirituality heavy. So this sister decided that they bet I don't know what the Babylon was from, but it was from Cuba tradition, not Isheshe, it was from Cuba. So this person went and got initiated. They got the Babylon warriors, which is so weird because it's a female at that, but it's always stated in Lukumi or Regla de Ocha that, from what I understand, that a Babala warriors, you can never really use that unless you're going to be a Babala. You have to get one made from a Santero, which they will consider like a Ororisha. So they gave her warriors that basically she can't use because she's never going to be a Babala. This is what I don't know how true it is, but this is what I hear, right? So what happened was the Warriors in I don't know if you're familiar, but the Warriors in Cuba is Eshu, Ogun, Ochosi, and I think Osun is the one with the bird that sits on top. This individual had a son. She had a son, and while I'm talking on the phone with her brother, the son called him, and the son is in problem with police. He says, "Yo, you wouldn't believe." He said, "Yo, home, some so and so is on the is just call me, and they have a bunch of police hemming them up." So I said, "Yo, how the fuck?" As I said to her, I said, "How is that supposed to be possible?" I said, "Yo, she just got a goon. Like she's not supposed to have her kids. They supposed to have no problem with the law." While I'm talking to him, I'm getting images of people walking around naked or in boxes in my head.